Better unmute myself. Good morning. Happy Friday. How are you all? I hope you are well. As Gabby says, hello, beautiful people. As you know, I'm alternate juror, aka AJ. As she also says, hey, look, it's AJ. That's me. Here. I'm here. Hope y'all had a good Halloween. Hope you had a great birthday, Gabby. Yep. So we're going to finish this trial today, come hell or high water. I don't care. You pick trials and you think, wow, this one sounds kind of interesting. And then it's like, hey, horrible audio. Or people that really want to talk about stuff that we are just like, just give us the details. And they don't. And then it turns out to be kind of like, ugh, that's this trial. You pick other trials that you think are going to be, ugh, and they turn out really good. You just don't know. It's a crapshoot. And this one is icky. Thanks. So I'm going to do one witness out of order. And then I think this is the only witness that the defense calls. And it's the defendant's mother. She is old and frail, for lack of a better word. I don't think they show her. For some reason, I was thinking, I don't know, I think she's maybe in a wheelchair or a scooter or something. I don't know where I saw that. I may have dreamed it up. Who knows at this point? But her testimony is very short. It's about 11 minutes. And then we're going to go back and do the ex-girlfriend and the ex-wife, who both had, the ex-girlfriend had a son, Hunter, with him, and then the ex-wife had a daughter, Hannah. As far as I know, they both are still alive. The state has, or the defense has objected and won that Hunter they cannot talk about Hunter because I don't know what happened. So he was admitted to he was seen in the hospital. I don't know if he was admitted or not, but then he was not seen again there. So I don't know if she moved, I don't know what happened. He is not in any of the reports. So there is nothing about Hunter unless his mother testifies to something about him, because I have not listened to all of her testimony. The ex-wife that will testify, that we'll listen to last, has daughter Hannah. And then once that is over, I'm just going to recap what the doctor, her name is Dr. Lynn Sheets. She's really, really good, but she's almost as bad as the medical examiner of, I'll tell you this in like simple terms, but then I'm going to explain it all in technical terms. I'm going to save you all from that. I've been listening to her all morning, and I just went through, and I'm just going to recap, and you'll see the pattern. And then we will do the verdict, and then we'll be done. I will get my recap on. I'm telling you, you guys are going to, when I read it, you're going to thank me for sparing you having to listen to it. It's awful. Absolutely awful. Okay, so this is the only reason why I think this might be a defense witness is because the defense attorney is standing up there as Mrs. Schroeder makes her way to the witness stand, and it's a thing. It's an event. I have it boosted because she's very quiet. Y'all, you know, audio sucks. Cameraman's drunk or something. We don't know what's going on in this courtroom. But it's been entertaining to an extent and but horrible all at the same time. The bow ties are. I think Judge Fleischer brought them back. If you can tie a bow tie, more power to you. I don't think everybody can. I think some people just clip them on. I'd say he ties his. So, alrighty, let's go and get done with this. Then we have a little things to talk about. Yeah. I did not see what Judge Fleischer was wearing yesterday. I was very busy with my dad and my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter. Oh, it was Beetlejuice. Like Beetlejuice. He's awesome. How fun. He would dress up for court and still be classy. I'll have to go look at it. All right, let's roll, as he says. And we're all just starting off there.
Mr. Schroeder. Judge Swanson, good morning, ma'am. The court clerk is going to swear you in, okay? If we get some Kleenex for Mr. Schroeder.
Oh, oops, sorry. I had this way spread up. We'll go here.
And thank you for coming to court today. The court clerk again will swear you in, okay?
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Thank you. So if you could just speak clearly to the microphone, state your name and spell the record.
If I need to boost it more, I can. I don't have it all the way up.
Ma'am, could you state your name for the record, please? Could you just state your name, ma'am?
Delphine Schroeder.
Thank you. All right. And we'll use standard spellings for Ms. Schroeder's name. We'll start with Mr. Torbenson.
Oh, nope, not a defense witness.
I can't hear you very well. Yes.
Do you know a person by the name of Ronald Schroeder?
Yes.
How do you know that person?
I'm his mother.
His mother?
Yes.
Did you know a person by the name of Christine?
Yes.
How did you know Christine?
It's my daughter-in-law.
She's your daughter-in-law?
Yes.
Do you remember Christine being pregnant with Katie?
Yes.
Did you ever see with your eyes your son Ronald being violent with Christine while she was pregnant with Katie?
It's been so long ago. I don't know if she was pregnant at the time, but I was at their house and he was violent with her.
You were present at their house and he was violent with her?
Yes.
Tell us what you remember about that.
Well, he pushed her against the wall and he was shaking her. She's tiny, she's very tiny. And he was shaking her and he was saying things to her, but I don't remember. I'm sorry. It's been too long ago.
Okay, is that too loud? I've got to boost it all the way. Hey, Tracy, it is great to see you back. I've been thinking about you, and I hope you are feeling better. But thank you. It's good to be back. So I have this boosted all the way. She's crying. She's like crying, trying to get through this testimony, which I'm sure is hard. That's her son. And you would. You would, Gabby. It's her son. And everything we've heard so far, he's a piece of crap. Sorry. He just is. So hopefully if it's too loud, let me know and I will turn it back down.
Ronald throwing her on the couch and sitting on her?
No, I don't remember that.
Don't remember that?
No.
You remember telling the police about that?
Like I said, it's so long ago. I can't remember 30-some years ago.
I mean, did you used to have dogs?
Yes,
Tell the jury about the kind of dogs you used to have.
a teacup.
What is a teacup? How big are they?
They're just tiny.
Tiny?
She was, yeah, like I said, she was like 4 pounds, soaking wet. She was very tiny.
Do you remember Katie? Katie?
Oh God, yes. Oh, she was beautiful.
Tell us what you remember about Katie.
She was a very good baby. She only cried when she was wet or hungry, and she smiled a lot. At least with me, I always smile. I can remember her looking up at me. I was holding her, and she's looking up at me and smiling.
Delphine, do you remember a time where Ronald and Christine went on a ride at a festival and you stayed in the car with baby Katie?
I wasn't in the car.
Where were you?
I was outside.
You were outside?
Yeah.
Tell us what you remember about that.
They went on, I don't know what kind of ride, and Christine usually had the baby. She handed it to me because she wanted to go on the ride.
And you helped Katie?
Yes, yes.
Did anything
Because
happen?
they went on the ride and they didn't want to take her on the ride.
Did anything happen to Katie while you were holding her?
No,
Was Katie
no.
good?
Pardon?
Was she good?
Yes, like I said, with me, she was always smiling good, because I always talked to her. I said, "Oh, Katie, Grandma loves you," and she's always got this big smile.
Do you remember staying the night at Ronald and Christine's apartment after that?
I don't know if it was before or after. I don't remember.
Did you ever see your little tiny poodle ever join you, Katie?
My poodle was never with the baby, because they hardly came on her. She was only a couple weeks. We always went somewhere, and my dog went home. Would stay home.
Delphine, I have one last question for you, okay? Did you ever do anything to her, Katie?
Never, 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 never.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ma'am, this is Mr. Glynn. He'll have some questions as well.
Hi, Delphine, how are you? Probably not good enough.
No.
Sorry about that.
It's so sad.
I'm sorry, this is so hard for me.
Understandable. My name is Charlie, and I'm just gonna ask you a few questions, okay? So you said several times that you don't remember it was over 30 years ago, correct?
Right.
And do you remember being interviewed back in 1991 about Katie?
I'm sorry, I can't hear very well.
Usually I don't have to complain to people not being able to hear me, but I'll speak up. Do you remember being interviewed by the police and social workers back in 1991 about Katie's death?
No, no,
Do you remember being interviewed again in 1994 about Katie's death?
no.
Do you remember being interviewed in 1998 and 99 about
I don't remember none of that. I'm sorry.
Nothing to apologize for. I appreciate the candor, your honesty. Do you remember being interviewed in 2004 about the circumstances of Katie's death?
No.
When Katie was born, Ron and Christine welcomed you into her life, didn't they?
Oh, yes. Yes, in short life, yes. And she was beautiful. She was a good baby. The only time she cried was when she was wet or hungry. I remember her smiling no matter better.
They welcome you into their apartment, you sometimes stay here with Katie and them, correct, in this tiny little apartment in Greenfield?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes.
Sometimes your dogs would stay with you?
No, the dog wasn't with me because I wasn't overnight. I would go to visit.
So you never spent the night?
Like I said, it's so long ago, and this is 30 years ago. I'm 83 years old. You know, your mind, the older you get, you know.
My mind is that way at 62.
I'm 83, you know.
Well, listen, I think we've asked you about enough questions. Let me know. I hope you have a safe day.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember.
Show you what's been marked as offense exhibit number. Oh, boy. Okay, I'm gonna show you some, a couple of pictures, been marked as offense exhibit number 4. Do you recognize those pictures?
Yes, that's me. Okay.
And in this lower picture,
Yes, that's me.
who else is in the picture?
Katie. Oh, those are my, I think these are my dogs.
You're not sure if they're your dogs?
This one is so long ago.
Understood.
You know, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, this is me.
It's a nice picture.
Yes. My Katie, she was a beautiful baby. She was good. She didn't deserve what she got. What happened to her?
Thank you very much, okay?
He's like, stop talking.
Exhibit defense number 4 is received and marked. Back to Mr. Torbenson. Any further questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Schroeder, for coming to court.
I don't think they show her. She's very frail, obviously, very upset, understandably. Her granddaughter is gone at 7 weeks. But I think that woman maybe was pushing her back out of the courtroom. So her testimony was very short. I thought she was a defense witness. I feel bad for her because I think she sees the writing on the wall of what her son did. And that wasn't anything good. So we are going to go backwards before her and listen to his ex-girlfriend. Their testimony isn't like super long. And then I will give you the recap. So it won't be a really long stream today. Sorry. And then I'll say that, and then it'll be like 10 hours. So this is the ex-girlfriend. I do not believe these two were ever married. We do, just like the other one, we don't see her face. We just see her chest. I mean, the cameraman just can't seem to go anywhere else. And oh, I better share it with you. Oopsies. Good grief. Dun, dun, dun. Do you know what Super Mario's favorite clothes are, says Gabby? Denim, denim, denim. I borrowed this from some blonde. She told me I wouldn't fill it out as well as she did, and she was correct. Hey, dear. How you doing? Man, it's early out there. Early. Malibu. Fancy. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your trip out there. And I have shared the screen, so You guys can see what I was seeing. Oops. You didn't miss anything. She's just swearing her in.
Brenda Kowalczyk, BRENDA KOWALCZYK.
She's a
Thank you,
fast
ma'am. We're
talker.
going to start with Mr. Torbenson.
Good morning.
Morning.
Do you know a person by the name of Ronald Schroeder?
Yes,
Do you know that person?
I dated him and had a son.
Did him
Had a son with him.
and his son with him?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stipulate to the identification. You know each other. Thank
They're
you.
just right there.
Ms. Kowalczyk, I want to direct your attention to January of 1996. Is that when you first met the defendant?
Yes.
Tell us how you met the defendant.
I worked for a company called Wow Distributing, and I was one of their promotional models, and he would show up at the modeling shows.
When you first met the defendant at one of these modeling shows, tell us about
We'll
that
see.
meeting.
He made me a balloon that was a flower and just was very friendly with me.
Did you perceive him to be hitting on you?
Yes.
Did it appear as though he wanted to date you?
Yes.
Did you initially accept his advances in January of 1996?
Not the first time.
Did there come a time in March where you met the defendant again?
Yes.
Tell us about that meeting with the defendant.
I was doing another promotional thing, and he showed up there and did the same, put his charm on.
Did it work this time?
Yep.
Tell us about how it worked.
I think in my modeling career, the attention you get is so superficial that I actually thought somebody liked me for me. So I fell for it.
No.
Did you give him something so that he could contact you?
I gave him my number.
Thereafter, after you gave the defendant your phone number, did you and the defendant start communicating?
Yes.
Tell us about that initial communication and how your relationship started to build.
We talked a lot, and we saw each other a lot. I think almost instantly, it was almost daily. We went on a lot of fun dates. He took me in a helicopter. He took me to a lot of exciting things that I didn't do.
Were you falling for him?
Yeah, I was falling for his charm.
Were there any warning signs at that point?
Not in the beginning. I didn't, now that I'm old, I know that someone shouldn't be that obsessed with you. But
She's
when I was
old.
young, I didn't realize it. I thought that he actually liked me.
You believe that the attention you were getting was because you really liked
Yeah.
She's old. She's probably like not much older than me. We're not old, lady. Don't say that about yourself. I'm about to move the closed captionings down just to make it a little bit more comfortable. Since I know where we're all staring. You can't help it. At least it's blurry. Yeah, that's not happening in here. I'm not sure. Not sure how that royalty thing's going to work out, but we'll try. We'll try.
Tell us about the attention he was giving you.
It was constant phone calls. It was constantly coming by my house. It was, I want to see you every day. I want to be with you. It was just all the time.
At some point, did the defendant give you something so that you could maintain contact with him?
Yeah, he gave me a pager.
Tell us about when you got a pager from the defendant.
He gave me a pager, and he paged me probably about every hour on the hour.
Yeah.
And he'd want me to call him. And when he didn't think that the pager was working right, I got 2 pagers so that if the first one didn't go through, I'd have a second one, so I never missed his paging.
Nope.
Was there ever any frustration expressed to you from the defendant if you didn't immediately respond to one of his pages?
Yeah, he would get mad. That's why I got the second pager.
A second pager?
I had two. Yeah.
So you had one pager, and then if you didn't respond to that pager, you actually had a second pager from the defendant? That's a yes?
Yes.
Why was it necessary? Tell us why you got the second pager.
Because I didn't always answer the first pager. I worked as a hairstylist, and I worked as a Miller girl. So I was busy and I didn't always respond. And he thought maybe the pager wasn't working right. So I got a second one.
You said one of your jobs was working as a Miller girl?
That was while distributing, yeah.
Okay. Tell us about working as a Miller girl. What did that involve?
Back in the day, we used to wear little Miller dresses and go around and promote Miller beer. So we'd go to different bars for an hour or two and talk to people and get them to drink Miller.
Get him drunk, like the cameraman.
Is this one of the ways that you met Ron?
Yeah, that's how I met him.
After you started seeing Ron, did your working as a Miller girl become a point of contention between you and the defendant?
He had me quit. He told me that if I wanted a relationship with him, people don't do that. You don't go out there, he called it seeking attention, but it wasn't. It was good money for doing a little bit of work.
He didn't want you doing it.
Not at all. He didn't want me talking to people like that. And when I did do it, when I was dating him and I did it, when we first met, he'd actually show up at the...
I got to move the closed captionings. I have to. Also, if you're making a living, is that worse? Does that make it worse? If she's making a living and that's how you meet her making her living, then you're like, oh, I don't want you to do that. It was okay for you to meet her that way, jerk. I mean, it's not like she was out there standing on the street corner. She was just talking to people, getting them to try some Miller beer. It makes it funny. I really was trying to just cover him up. Like, I feel bad for her. I just want to cover it up. All right. If I need to move him, I will.
place. He'd drive me there or he'd show up while I was doing it.
Did there come a time where he would not only drive you there, but also pick you up?
Yes.
Was that every time you would work one of these jobs where you finished it?
Once we started dating, yes.
You would make sure that he was the person that dropped you off?
Yes.
The person that picked you up?
Yes.
You said at some point you left that job. Tell us again.
I think
why
I
you
need to.
left that job.
Because Ron told me that I shouldn't work that job if I wanted to be in a relationship with him.
You had the 2 pagers from the defendant. At some point, did you also get another way for the defendant to maintain contact?
I got a cell phone.
Who gave you a cell phone?
Ron did.
What was the expectation with that cell phone?
That if he was calling me, I was answering it.
Was there ever a time that you didn't answer it in enough time?
I was pretty good at it. I mean, again, back when I was young, I thought that's what, if you're in a relationship with somebody, that's what they do. I didn't know.
Give the jury an idea of when you had the 2 pagers, how many times approximately on a day would the defendant contact you on those pagers?
It was hourly. It was hourly, which sometimes was hard because if I'm doing somebody's hair, I can't call you back. I can't communicate with you. But it was hourly that I would get a page from him. And it was always to know what I was doing.
So he had to know what you were doing. Did he also have to know where you were?
Yes.
What about with the cell phone? Was it the same?
It was the same.
You had to talk to him at least hourly?
He would call me hourly. If I didn't pick up, I'd have to call him as soon as I could.
And what information would he want when you had to call him?
Where are you? What are you doing? Just things like that.
I don't know what to do with them. I feel like we're just staring.
Were there times where if you didn't call him back immediately, he would make accusations against you?
I know that he didn't like people looking at me. He would yell at me if they looked at me. When we started getting serious, like he didn't want me wearing the clothes that I wear. He wanted sweatshirts, sweatpants. Why you wear so much makeup? You don't need that makeup on. Like, he changed who I was.
So he changed the clothing you wore.
Mm-hmm.
He changed how you would
Appear.
with your face and your makeup. And did he ever control who you spent time with?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it was weird because if I would do something like with my mom and my stepdad, Ron would show up. or he'd be calling on the phone to find out where we were. I had one really close friend that he hated, and he would be rude to her, so she didn't want to come around anymore. And all I had was Ron. My sister and Ron didn't get along. My father didn't want anything to do with it because he saw his tendencies and didn't want to be involved in it.
Did the defendant ever tell you things about your family?
He didn't really talk about my family too much because honestly, I was pretty easy to control in the beginning.
You were pretty easy to control?
Mhm.
Did he isolate you from your family,
Very much so.
your friends?
Very much so. If the phone rang and he was with me and it was my family, he would pick it up and talk on it. Or he would put it on speakerphone so he could hear what we're talking about.
Tell us about having to put the phone on speakerphone when the defendant was around.
It
Why
was-
did you do that?
If I picked it up, he'd like put it on speaker. Like, okay. Like, I didn't understand why, but I would do it. But I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody without him being there.
He was monitoring who you talked to?
Yes,
He was monitoring what was said in those conversations?
yes.
During your dating relationship with the defendant, do you remember a time where you saw a picture of Catherine Schroeder at the defendant's residence?
Yes,
Did you ask him about Catherine?
yes.
What did the defendant tell you?
I don't remember if that time. He told me once that she died of SIDS. And then he told me that it was mean for me to even ask that question, that why should I be asking about that? And then as we started dating down the line and Hunter was coming, he told me that it was one of 3 people and the state didn't know who. So it wasn't really nice to talk about.
I want to talk to you about September of 1996. Did you move in with the defendant
Yes,
in September of 1996?
yes,
And that was at a residence on Gregory Drive in the city of Muskego, county
Yes.
of Waukesha.
yes.
So not Milwaukee County, not
No.
Muskego. Do you remember the first time that the defendant physically abused you when you were living inside that apartment?
The first time was when my mom and her husband, my stepdad, were on their honeymoon. And he physically abused me, and he ripped my shirt, and he beat me, and I called my sister, and my sister called the cops.
Do you remember why it became physical, why he started to beat you?
Because I still talked back to him. I still had an opinion. I'm very opinionated, and I paid for it a lot.
I want to walk through that entire situation because you gave us a lot of information. You said this first time while you were living together, you were strong-willed, you had an opinion, you spoke back to him, right?
Yes,
And I think you said he tore your shirt.
yes.
Tell us how he did that.
I don't remember exactly. I know that when he would go after me, it was a lot of body slamming. It was a lot of pushing me to the ground. It was a lot of hitting where you would never see it.
On this particular occasion, you remember him tearing your shirt.
Yes.
What else do you remember?
I remember calling my sister. I remember crying. I remember being scared to death.
What were you scared of?
Run. I was pregnant with Hunter at the time.
You were pregnant at this time? Is that one of the reasons why you moved in together?
Yes. And that's one of the reasons we moved to Waukesha County.
Was this the first time he was violent with you?
I think so.
Was this within weeks of moving into that apartment?
Yes.
Prior to this first time where he became physically abusive towards you, was he ever verbally abusive towards you?
He likes skinny people. He very, very much likes skinny people. So he made that known, but he didn't like rip on my appearance ever. He'd get mad at other people for looking at me, but he never ripped on my appearance until after I moved in with him.
So he was not initially verbally abusive
No.
towards you while you were dating and you were not living together.
Right, not at all.
Waukesha.
This The time when he rips your shirt and becomes physically aggressive with you, you said you contacted your sister.
Yes.
Tell us what happened after you contacted and reached out to your sister.
I believe Lisa called the cops. And then I went back to my mom and Jim's house.
Lord.
You left.
I went back.
How long did you leave the defendant?
Did you see the CC's? Jim's. GYM apostrophe S. Went back to my mom and Jim's. I looked to see if I could get different closed captionings. I cannot. Yeah, Waukesha, oopsies, Waukesha County is where Daryl Brooks, that's Judge Mommy. Jesse Krzyzewski, I dropped unaliver. Daryl Brooks are the two biggest ones to come out of that county. I can't remember what county old business was in. It wasn't that one though. I don't believe.
I never left for long periods of time. I was scared. I knew I couldn't make it on my own. I knew I had a baby coming, and he told me I was tarnished goods because I was pregnant, so nobody would ever love me again.
Did the defendant try and do things to win you over, get you to come back to the house after this incident took place?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Ron was good with flowers. He sent me a lot of letters, a lot of notes, and just constantly recontacting me.
Did his tone change now that you were away from him?
Yes, he was back to the loving Ron, back to the I've changed, it's not going to happen. I don't know why it happened. Just come back, I'll show you. It's different.
Did you eventually go back to him?
Yes,
Was that in December of 1996?
I believe so. I wouldn't know the exact date.
When you moved back in with the defendant, did the physical or verbal abuse begin?
There was a physical abuse.
How did that start?
It could be anything. It could be you've ironed my shirt wrong. You put the groceries away wrong. You did the laundry wrong. Why does the toilet seat look like this? Why do you look like that today? It would be anything.
And what would he do to physically abuse you?
He was big into kicking your legs so you can see the bruises, and body slamming.
He would kick you and give body slam you?
Mm-hmm.
When he
Yes.
would body slam you, what would he body slam you on?
The ground.
The floor?
Uh-huh.
Can you describe to us how he would do that physically?
He'd just come and attack you. It's hard to say. I mean, you'd be standing there and all of a sudden you'd hit the ground.
What do you remember about his face or his voice when he would attack you like that?
It was mean. I can't describe a look in his eyes. I can't. It would be like probably the meanest person looking at you. It just like, that didn't mean, I don't know. It's not who you think you're with. You're like, okay, you just loved me 2 minutes ago, and now you're putting me to the ground. There's no words.
You said he wasn't verbally abusive with you before you lived with him. At some point, did he become verbally abusive towards you?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
After Hunter, I probably heard I was fat daily. He would pinch my boobs so hard they'd bruise because women don't have boobs if they're skinny. And it was a constant daily thing.
I want to talk about Hunter. April 3rd of 1996.
Mhm.
Is that a good day?
It's wonderful
Tell us why it was wonderful.
because Hunter was born.
Tell us what you remember about Hunter before.
It was fast. I remember I was by my mom's house and he wasn't moving, so we got worried because he was still in my belly. And we went to the hospital and they're like, "You're fine, you can go home." And then all of a sudden the nurse went, "Oh my God, the head's crowning." And there was Hunter. And he was a joy. He was a happy baby. He was a healthy baby. He was just amazing. But I remember that Ron didn't want me to tell them that he was a father. And he asked me at one time to tell people that Ralph, his brother, was the father of Hunter. And I wouldn't do that. And that's when he said that we have to live in Waukesha County. But Hunter's amazing.
I want to talk to you about what the defendant told you about him not being the father. He told you that when Hunter was being born at the hospital, right?
He told me right before we went.
And how did you take that information? What did you believe you had to do based on what he told you?
I told him I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to say Ralph was the father. And he's like, you don't understand. There's a case out there and 3 of us are guilty and we could lose Hunter. You could lose Hunter. I still wasn't going to do it.
So he didn't want you to bring up his history or that he was the father of Catherine when you were going to the hospital to give birth to Hunter.
Right.
After Hunter was born and you came back home, I think you told us the physical abuse really started at that point.
Yes.
Did how the defendant treated you with regards to expectations in the home also change?
He had high expectations. I didn't work anymore. I wasn't allowed to go back to work. So I was a stay at home. I didn't have a job. I depended on him fully. It was like, I don't know, the facing of the cans and the counters, the organizing of the towels, that's real. And that's what I lived. The ironing of his shirts, it's like everything had to be just perfect. And if not, you paid for it.
The facing of the cans, so the cans had to look a certain way within the pantry.
Mm-hmm.
What happened if they didn't look the right way?
You get hit. You get hit. You get yelled at, you get hit.
What about the ironing of the defendant's shirts?
That was hard because you had to have the perfect line. And if you didn't do it right, most of the time you'd get kicked because you're standing there. So you get kicked in the leg.
That's like Sleeping with the Enemy movie. It's a red solo pen. I'm guilty of because I worked in a grocery store and you had to face the shelves. So all the labels had to be faced. I'm guilty of doing that. I don't beat anybody up if they don't. I just go back behind them and correct it. All the labels face the front. I wonder if he has a red solo cup to go with that red solo pen. I actually wonder if he ever uses that pen. Like, is it just there? Is it a comfort pen? Like a service pen? We can't see the defendant because there's glass in between us.
But the record reflect that Ms. Kowalczyk was showing the sleeve of the arm. You need a perfect crease in that sleeve.
Uh-huh.
And if the crease wasn't perfect, according to the defendant, you would get kicked
Mm-hmm.
or hit.
Yes.
Did you ever get lists from the defendant?
I'm sorry.
Did you ever get lists?
Yes. Yes.
It does bother
I would
me.
get a grocery list of everything I had to get from the grocery store. It would be white bread, and white bread was always number 1. And then there'd be a list of everything you had to get from the grocery store. And it was constant, or things you have to do. There were lists. This is what you have to get accomplished today. And it was constant.
Did you get those lists from the defendant every day?
Yeah.
A chore list.
Yes.
What happened if you didn't accomplish the chores that the defendant set out for you to do?
You would pay at the end of the day.
How would you pay?
You would get yelled at and then you would get beat.
You told us about the pinching of your body. Did he call you names?
You know, I know that he called me fat. I know that he called me the B word.
You can say the B word. It's okay. I'm not going to try.
Bitch.
He would call you bitch.
Yeah.
And would he call you anything else?
I don't remember.
You can come to my house anytime. Use all my bathrooms. I hate cleaning the bathroom. I hate it.
Hunter came home and Hunter would cry. What would the defense reaction be to Hunter's cry?
He get mad. He called him a sissy little baby. Why wasn't he just a girl? Listen to him cry like a baby girl. He get very mad.
Did you call him other names when they cried?
I don't even remember everything he'd call him. He didn't like it. I know he didn't like it.
Did you call him my little girl?
That's what the little girl, our little daughter, sissy little thing. He should have been born a girl.
Yes.
Did you ever call him bad boy?
Yes.
And that would be when Hunter would cry?
Yes.
Did the defendant ever do anything to try and quiet Hunter when Hunter would cry?
The only time I remember, and I only remember it because it was such a bad memory, is we lived on Kilps at this time.
I don't want to talk about that yet.
Oh, that's the only time I remember. Otherwise, he'd just get mad.
We're gonna get there.
Okay.
Before you lived there, in August of 1997, do you remember wanting to take Hunter in
Mm-hmm.
to the hospital?
Yes.
Why did you want to take Hunter to the hospital?
Hunter would spit up his food a lot. Hunter had a hard time eating. And on this particular day, Hunter was not breathing. I could watch his stomach go all the way in, and then he can't take a breath. And I told Ron, we need to take him to the hospital. And Ron said, no, it's just a cold. He's fine. And I said, no, he's not. He's fine, Brenda. He's fine. And I sat there for a little bit. And then I'm like, no way, this is my baby. So I called my mom, and she went to the hospital with me and Hunter. And Hunter actually, we went to the emergency room, and they rushed him in right away. And they put him in an oxygen tent. And then we ended up staying there. And then I think we went to Children's because they needed to do more for him.
Do you remember during the time that you told the defendant that you wanted to take Hunter to the hospital, you said that he said, no, it's just a cold. Do you remember what he went and did when he said that to you?
I think he went back to bed.
He went to take a nap?
Well, this was like nighttime.
Nighttime. Okay, so he went to bed.
Yeah.
Tell us what your emotional state was when you're telling the defendant that you want to take Hunter to the hospital. Was it just like, hey, I think something's
No.
wrong?
No.
What was it like?
A little worse than Mel. I was crying. I was scared. And you watch your baby's tummy go like totally in, and you're helpless. And he didn't seem to care at the time. He went back to bed.
Did you show him Hunter?
Yes.
Did he see, or at least based on what you could see, did he watch Hunter and watch Hunter have his labored breathing?
Yes.
Before you took Hunter to the hospital on that day in August of 97, did you tell the defendant, I'm taking Hunter in?
I did tell him.
And did he tell you anything with regards to what you should say to the doctors regarding his past?
Don't mention Hunt. Don't mention his name. Don't mention anything.
Did he say why you shouldn't?
No.
I want to talk to you about November of 1997 now. This is in November of 1997, you and the defendant, along with Hunter, moved to that apartment on Kills Drive. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Is a townhouse.
And that's in the city of Waukesha, County of Waukesha, right?
Yes.
So again, not Milwaukee County.
Correct.
Tell us what happened with Hunter just after moving in at that townhouse.
When I left Hunter in the living room to go make him a bottle, Ron was at his computer. Hunter was crying, and he's sitting in his little car seat. He's little. And I went in the kitchen to make him a bottle, and I was prepping the bottle, and Hunter's still screaming, and I came back in, and Ron had a burp cloth pushed in Hunter's mouth. And then I took it out, and I grabbed him, and I told him I was leaving.
I want to break that down because that's a lot of information, okay? So you said that Hunter is in a car seat.
Mm-hmm.
That's a yes?
Yes.
And what room is Hunter in the car seat?
He's in the living room. It was, Ron's computer was here, our TV was here. Hunter was like right behind him.
And you went into the kitchen to make Hunter a bottle.
Right.
Can you see what's happening in the living room?
No.
or the kitchen? You said Hunter was crying went to go make that bottle?
Yes,
So you go into the kitchen to make this bottle. Do his cries change at all?
Yes.
In the kitchen?
they become muffled. And that's why I came around the corner and I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
They became muffled?
His cries, like, I can't explain the noise.
So his cries were a normal baby cry when you were going to make the bottle?
Yes,
And then the sound changed.
yes.
How would you describe the change of that crying sound?
You could tell something was blocking his cry. And I didn't even finish the bottle. I came around the corner. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, it's a baby.
You said that when you left, Ron was sitting at a computer chair at the computer?
Yes, Hunter was behind him.
Hunter was behind him. Where was the defendant when you came back into the room?
By Hunter.
Was he standing, sitting?
No, Hunter was on the floor on his car seat.
Car seat.
And he was down on the floor by him.
Ron was down on the floor next to Hunter.
Yes,
And while the defendant is on the floor next to Hunter, you said you come in and you see what in Hunter's mouth?
Ron with his hand with a burp cloth in Hunter's mouth.
He had the burp cloth and it was inside Hunter's mouth.
Yes,
What did you do?
I pulled it out and yelled at him.
What did you see when you pulled it out?
The blood on the burp cloth.
How far was that burp cloth down Hunter's mouth?
I honestly don't. Fingers. I don't.
You yelled at the defendant?
Yes,
What did you do next?
I grabbed Hunter.
What did you do with Hunter?
I had him in my arms and I told Ron I was leaving.
Did you take Hunter in for medical help?
Not at that time.
Did you leave the defendant at that point?
I might have left, but I know I went back.
You went back again?
Yes.
Did you ever tell any medical professionals about that, what happened with Hunter?
Not until after I was strong enough to leave him for good.
You told us about a medical situation with Hunter where he was having difficulty breathing in August of 1997, right?
Yes.
Was there ever a time in those other times where he had difficulty breathing or may have been vomiting where he spit up blood or you saw blood like you did in November?
No. No.
Tell us about the amount of blood that you saw in that rag.
Probably like, I don't know, a quarter size. I don't know. It's more blood than just a scratch. That's
Enough to make you very concerned.
very concerned.
Did you eventually seek medical care for Hunter after that?
I would take Hunter to the doctor.
Did you ever, you said you never told them about what happened?
No,
Can you tell the jury why you wouldn't tell the medical professionals about what you observed with Hunter and the defendant?
because I was scared. Because I didn't have a job. Because at the time, I was used goods and nobody would ever love me. And when you're that far down, you believe it.
Did your weight drop during this time frame?
Yes,
Tell us about that.
I was bones. I was probably maybe 90 pounds, maybe. I was trying to get rid of my boobs because you don't have boobs when you're skinny. And in my brain, as dumb as it sounds, I actually believed it.
Why were you trying to get so skinny?
Because we're like skinny people.
Why were you trying to get rid of your breasts?
Because you're fat if you have them.
Did you have to do something even when you went to the bathroom when you were living with the defendant?
My bathroom door was always open. I didn't have any privacy. I mean, it was to the point that when he would go to work, Hunter and I would sit in the hot car and wait for him because he didn't want me going anywhere.
So when you're at home, even when you have to use the bathroom, your door had to be open?
Yes,
So that he could watch and monitor you?
yes.
During the time that you lived with were there ways where he would be physically abusive towards your face?
Yes.
Can you tell us about what he would do to your face?
If I would talk back, he would take it and he'd squeeze it so hard that I'd end up with bruises on my cheeks. But I would wear my makeup so it looked like I would cover it, like so you couldn't see it. But that was the only place that he'd bruise me where people could ever see it. But it was always like right here, so it just looked like a bad makeup job.
You told us that the defendant would use derogatory terms for Hunter when Hunter would cry. You also told us about in November of 1997 where he used this bird rag and put it down Hunter's throat because Hunter was crying, right?
Yes.
Sustained.
You told us about removing the bird rag.
Yes.
What did you have to do when the defendant was home with Hunter and you were home? What did you feel you had to do to keep Hunter safe?
I had to keep him with me and keep him quiet.
What were you afraid of if Hunter cried while the defendant was around?
Ron would get mad at the baby. He shouldn't be crying. I had to keep him quiet all the time, and Ron would work from home, and then I would be holding Hunter, feeding Hunter just so he'd be quiet, so Ron wouldn't hear him cry.
I want to talk to you about an incident that happened in March 10th of 1998. Do you remember being slammed to the ground on that day?
I do a little bit.
Do you remember a time when you actually had to fight the defendant to get free?
Yes, I do. I remember that he slammed me to the ground and he was beating me and I couldn't get up. So I went and I believe I bit him in the side of the body as hard as I could. And then I thought I was going to get in trouble because I think I scarred it there because I bit so hard. And then I thought I was going to get in trouble.
So he slammed you to the ground?
Yes.
And you said he starts beating you. Can you describe to the jury how he's beating you while he's on top of you?
Ron liked to either kick your legs or big one for the head because you have hair so you can't see anything. So he was up here and I moved so that I could get him. And
Why'd you bite him?
because I wanted to get away, I was scared.
What were you scared of?
I was going to die.
When you bit him, what did he do in response to that?
He did get off of me. I mean,
Do you remember going unconscious on this day? No? Is it hard to remember these different incidences?
I've suppressed so much of this stuff that this week has been terrible.
I'm sorry. Was there a time where you remember waking up to the defendant using an inhaler on you?
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
You don't remember telling law enforcement during that incident in March of 98 that he kicked you and you the back and went unconscious?
That was like 30 years ago.
Did the defendant ever threaten you about what would happen if you ever reported his abuse to police?
See, that's a tough one because he threatened me a lot. I mean, I've been afraid of him for a long time.
Did he ever threaten you with losing Hunter?
Yes, all the time.
Tell us about that.
I wasn't allowed to tell people that he was part of Hunter's life. I wasn't allowed to tell anybody that he spent time with Hunter. If social services came to the house or the cops were questioning me, I did everything for Hunter. Ron didn't touch Hunter. And he said I had to do that or I was going to lose him.
I want to talk to you about the end of March 1998. Do you recall being visited by a social worker during the end of March 1998?
I know that they showed up a few times, so
a social worker coming and visiting you and telling you about the defendant's history?
I remember some of the defendant's history that they told me about, but
Do you remember the social worker in essence giving you a choice and saying, if you stay with the defendant, then we're going to have to take Hunter?
yes,
Tell us about that.
they told me that if I stayed with Ron, that Hunter would be taken away from me and given to somebody else, and I would only have visitation rights.
What did you do based on that information?
I left.
You left the defendant.
Yes,
Where did you go?
to my mom's house.
Did you continue to see the defendant after you left him? For a period of time?
Yes,
At the time that you left the defendant and moved back in with your mother, were you working?
if I had Hunter, I'm guessing I was not.
This was a time frame when you were still financially dependent on the defendant.
Yes,
Your livelihood in a lot of ways depended on it.
yes,
Did you enter into a program to seek a job?
yes.
Tell us about that program you entered.
I wanted to be strong. I wanted to make a difference because of everything I went through. So I went to school to become a paralegal because I thought I was going to make a difference.
Did you like it?
Loved it.
2 weeks into that program, you were helping the defendant get ready for his weekend job. Do you remember this particular incident?
Yes.
Was the defendant happy with how you helped him get ready for work?
No,
What did he do?
I got beat pretty bad that night.
Tell us about that beating.
I know that he came back really, really mad at me. And I just know I got really beat bad that night.
You weren't living with him at this point in time, right?
And I would stay there, but I wasn't living with him.
And so you helped him get ready for work and he went to work,
Yes,
and then he came back angry with how you helped him.
yes.
Do you remember telling him after that that your relationship with him was over?
Honestly, I told him that a few times.
Do you remember what his response to you was?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Do you remember him telling you that no one would love you or that little sissy boy
I've been told that a lot.
by the defendant?
Yes,
You had a dog named Harley.
yes.
Tell us about Harley.
Harley was awesome.
What kind of dog was Harley?
He was a Rottweiler. And Harley, I got Harley when Harley was 7 weeks old, and I was so proud of Harley, and I trained Harley, and Harley would obey everything you ever did, even to the point that if Harley was laying down, Hunter could crawl over and lay on Harley and take a nap, and Harley wouldn't move. Just lay there and watch you.
Did Harley go to obedience school? or-
Yes, Harley was very well trained. You tell him to sit, you tell him to move, you go bang, he'd lay down. He was just amazing.
You would walk Harley. You need a leash.
No. Harley would stay by your side unless you told Harley it was okay to go.
When I walk my dog and he sees another dog, he goes nuts.
Harley would not do that.
Harley just
No, no. We had Ron had Dusty at the time, and Harley and Dusty got along great. Harley didn't go after any other dogs.
How long did you have Harley during the time frame that you were seeing the defendant? Or maybe a better question I should ask is, when did you get Harley?
I got Harley before I met the defendant.
So you had Harley for a long time,
Yes,
throughout the entirety of your relationship with the defendant.
yes.
Do you remember how long before your relationship with the defendant you got Harley?
A year and a half, 2 years.
Year and a half to 2 years?
Yeah.
So Harley was an older dog in 1998, fair to say?
Probably 4 to 5 years old, maybe.
I want to talk to you about November of 1998. Do you remember the defendant repeatedly begging you to come
Yes.
Did you?
I don't think I moved back in with him.
Where was Harley living at that point?
Harley was still by Rob's house because I couldn't have him at my mom's and dad's house. So I was in the basement, and I know that he was really on me. Please come back. We can work this out. Please. Harley's here. If you love Harley, come back. Come back.
Do you recall getting a phone call in November 1998 from the defendant about Harley being hit by a car?
Yes.
Did you rush to the defense department?
Yes.
Did you see Harley?
Yes.
Harley dies?
Yes.
Being hit by a car? Was the person who was driving the car still on scene?
Yes.
I don't want to know what that person said. But did you have an opportunity to talk to that person about what happened prior to Harley being struck by the car?
Yes.
Based on your conversation with that person, were you upset with the defendant?
Yes.
Did you confront the defendant about the circumstances under which Harley got hit?
Yes.
Do you remember what the defendant told you?
I don't remember. The only thing, the really thing that I remember is him hugging the girl that hit him before she left.
Hugging the woman that hit the car?
That hit Harley.
Do you remember the defendant telling you that if the dog had a nice
A good mom, yeah.
Sustained.
Do you remember what he told you?
I do remember him saying that if Harley had a good mom, she wouldn't be dead.
Harley had a good mother, meaning you.
Yes.
Harley won't be dead.
Yes.
When you were working on getting your paralegal job, did you eventually get a paralegal job?
Yes.
Did the defendant try and contact you incessantly while you were working at
All
that
the
job?
time.
Tell us about that.
He would show up at the school. He would wait outside the school. If he wasn't at the school, he was sure at my mom's house when I got home. He was just always hopping up.
Did the school have to put in some precautions regarding the defendant?
They had security watching.
Do you remember getting a waitressing job in December of 1998?
Yes.
Where was that job?
At Hooters.
At Hooters?
Hmm.
What did the defendant do to you when you got that job?
He was mad at me. He still showed up there. He had a few words to say about me working there.
What would he call you because you worked there?
I know they weren't good names.
You don't think they were good names?
No, I know it was like glorified hoe or you're a slut, or it was all bad stuff.
Did the staff at that restaurant ever have to do anything because of his conduct?
Yes.
Tell us about what the staff at the restaurant had to do.
They had to actually kick him out of the restaurant because he would show up and he wouldn't go away.
Do you remember something happening to your car on one of those occasions?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
It was the night that I was closing, so it was late. They closed at like 10 or 10:30. And he came in and he had words with me, and then he left, and then he came back in, and I think one of my managers noticed, so they told him to leave. And then we finished closing the restaurant, and I walked outside and I parked off to the side because I never knew what Ron was going to do. And my car was keyed so bad that I went back inside and we called the cops.
April of 1999.
Mm-hmm.
Did you graduate?
Yes.
Tell us about graduating.
I graduated with highest honors. It was funny, and I won't forget it, because I walked in and they handed me a gold rope, and I said, "I think you're mistaken." And they're like, "No, like you're the top of the class." So I was really very happy.
Proud.
Very. Mm-hmm.
Big accomplishment.
It was, Because from feeling like I was nothing, it kind of made me feel important again.
Did you start working somewhere after you graduated?
Yes. Yes.
Where you start working?
Tillicum, McCoy, Connors, and Jennings.
Is that a law firm?
Yes.
When you started working at that law firm, what, if anything, did the defendant do?
He would still show up there. He would still drive by there. It was right on Highway 100, so you couldn't miss it.
What do you call the firm?
He might have called in the beginning. I honestly don't remember. I know that he'd show up at my home, or he would show up at where I worked a lot.
Is this the time frame when you're no longer seeing him?
I no longer seen him.
And he would still show up?
Yes.
Your house?
Yes.
Your work?
Yes.
Unannounced?
Yes.
Did you start seeing someone else in 1999?
Yes.
Did the defendant have a response to that?
I don't remember if he said anything.
The person that you started seeing in 1999, did that person have snowmobiles?
Yes.
For instance?
Yes.
Two specific types?
Yes.
Did that person also have a place up north?
Yes.
Do you recall ever getting a phone call from the defendant about either the snowmobiles or the place up north?
I honestly do not.
I don't remember.
No.
Brenda, I've asked you a lot of questions this morning. I have just one or two more questions. Is there anything that I've forgotten to ask you that you believe is important to the jury?
Sustain.
Can you explain to the jury why the defendant wanted you and him to move to Waukesha?
Because he said if we were out of Milwaukee County, they wouldn't catch on that he is still involved with the other case. Because it's two different counties.
At the time that all this happened, you did not know Christine Reuter, did you?
I've seen Christine. I did not know her at all.
You did not know her.
No.
And you didn't know a Nicole Chappie either, did you?
No.
You would be interviewed by police detectives in about 1999 regarding this case, right?
Yes.
At the time that you were interviewed by the police detectives, did you know Christine Reuter?
No.
Did you know Nicole Chappie?
No.
When you were living with the defendant and involved in a relationship with the defendant, did he ever see his other child with Christine Reuter that you're aware of?
He had supervised visits.
Overruled.
He had supervised visits with her.
At that time?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Thank you. Mr. Kowalczyk, do we need a break, everyone? It has been a little over about an hour on the record. Are you okay to continue, Mr. Kowalczyk? Okay. Mr. Glenn? Okay, we'll continue. Mr. Glenn.
Well, Ms. Kowalczyk, I am truly sorry you had to endure all of those things. It's a horrendous life, and I'm sorry for that. But I need to ask you some questions because, as you know, as a paralegal, this is the court of law, and what we do, right?
Yes.
That career of yours flourished as a paralegal, didn't it?
Yes.
And you went on to work for Waukesha County.
Yes.
You know the clerk of courts out there, the judges, the
Yes.
officers that work the courts.
Yes.
It became a nice part of your life, wasn't it?
Yes.
Congratulations on that. And previous to that, you mentioned that you worked for, I think, Wikowiak, Connors, Jennings.
Yes.
As you know, Wikowiak's now a judge here in this
Yes.
building, right?
Yes.
Scott Connors, I think, still practices. I don't
Yes.
know about that.
Patrick Jennings still practices too.
All good guys.
Yes.
Wow. So you got that. That was a nice start to your career.
It's wonderful.
Everything that you testified to about today, you have either shared with law enforcement or attorneys in a custody dispute. You have shared that with them before, correct?
I believe so.
There's nothing new here today about this terrible way you were treated by Ron?
There's more, but I haven't shared it.
But everything you shared today, right?
Yes,
And you shared that actually, you're aware that there was an extensive investigation in 1998, 99, and you participated in that, correct?
yes,
And you made yourself available and you cooperated.
yes.
And then there was a dispute, a custody dispute over who would have placement or joint or custody with Hunter, right?
It was a dispute, but it was to get supervised placement for Ron.
Sure.
That's what it was.
So it was a court action.
Yes,
Okay. And you then had gone, you had already shared your medical records with investigator Ben Dole, correct?
I believe so.
And then you went back and got those medical records to utilize for yourself, to advocate for yourself in the custody issue.
Well, I never read the medical records. My attorney probably did.
But you got it, right?
They got them, yes.
And some of the questions I'm going to ask you sound kind of silly like this one, but it's important. You don't know anything about what happened on July 22nd. Firsthand knowledge about what happened on July 21st or 22nd, 1991, correct?
No,
And you have no firsthand knowledge of what happened on August 24th or 25th, 1991, correct?
no,
And you are here because the state asked you to come here and I assume they subpoenaed you.
yes,
And you're here to tell your version of this horrendous relationship that you had with Ron, correct?
yes,
And then that one incident with Hunter, right? The incident with the.
that's the incident they asked about, yes,
And that was a fleck of blood, a little smaller than a quarter, that was on his birthplace.
yes.
Were there any lesions, scratches, bruises?
Hunter was scared to death of Ron, if you want to know. Ron would try to pick him up, Hunter would scream. My stepdad could hold Ron, my mom could hold Ron, or Hunter, but if Ron came towards Hunter, Hunter would scream.
Thanks for sharing that. But so there was the day in question about the birth law. There was no scratches, bruises, anything.
Not that day,
There was none.
no,
And if there was, you would have certainly reported that.
yes,
Back in 97, 98, 99, 2004,
yes,
correct?
yes,
And throughout all of the questions that Mr. Torbenson asked you, you met with Mr. Torbenson and members of his office on multiple occasions, correct?
not multiple occasions, no,
Just once?
briefly, yes.
Okay. Well, I just got some medical records this weekend. Did you provide those?
No, no.
You didn't give those?
I gave them to Christine years and years ago. I haven't seen any of that stuff in years.
Okay. Well, maybe this is a good point to maybe. I'm going to show you what's been marked as defense exhibit number 2. Recognize that at all?
Do I recognize it? No, it's old.
You go in a few pages, maybe you might start to recognize that. I think that's the cover sheet from the district attorney's office.
No, last time I've seen this was years ago. Like you're talking 25 years ago. I haven't seen this in a long time.
Okay, that's fair. So thank you. So what does that appear to be?
Hunter's medical reports.
Just while we have two on the stand, why don't you turn to page, it's called SPD 2200, 2200.
Okay,
You found that?
yes,
There's a note in there that talks about, you see where it's dated? I think it's September 12th, 1997.
at the bottom,
Yeah.
yes,
And up towards the top, just read that? Yes.
Feeds noises loudest on inspiration. Has cough that produces sometimes blood flecks.
Does that appear to be information that you shared with the doctor, or nurses, or whoever took those notes?
I would assume so years ago.
Understood, understood. Completely respect. And I'm gonna next show you, I would move defensive exhibit 2 into the record.
The objection. Exhibit defense number 2 is received and marked.
I next show you what's been marked as defense exhibit number 3. If you just take a peek at that, see if you're familiar with what that is.
I don't remember this at all, but it looks like more Hunter's medical records.
Just, so did Hunter have respiratory issues?
Hunter had breathing problems.
And that required you to take him to the pediatrician or the emergency room on multiple occasions between his birth, April 3rd, 1997, and when you split up.
I took Hunter most of the time. If I went to the hospital, it was by myself. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to be part of it. And when I took Hunter to the doctor, it was by myself.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And, but nonetheless, Hunter received plenty of medical attention for these breathing issues that he had, right?
Hunter saw the medical attention for his breathing issues until I left Ron, and then the breathing issues mysteriously went away.
Or he grew out of it, right?
They just went away. It was weird.
Understood. So you are not here to testify about anything from 1991, correct? Just about the actions between you and Ron, and then that one incident involving the flood of blood on the protocol, correct?
That was one incident. There was another incident that I remember as clear as day, and Ron didn't hurt the baby, but we were outside my grandma's house on 112th and Greenfield, and Hunter was crying in the back seat, and he was having breathing issues again, and I asked to take Hunter to the doctor, and Ron looked at me straight in the face and said, "Babies die every day, Brenda. You shouldn't worry about it."
Wow.
And I will never forget that.
Thank you for sharing that. Ron didn't hit the child.
Ron didn't have a chance to hit the child.
This attorney reminds me of freaking Eddie Haskell off of Leave It to Beaver. I'm going to really age myself. Yes, I only saw him in reruns. I didn't see the originals. But he'd be the same thing. Like, thank you for sharing that. Like, I didn't ask you that, but thank you for sharing. Woman has to be happy that her son got out of there alive. Because when you hear what I'm going to tell you after this next witness, she's very, 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 very lucky that her son did not sustain more serious injuries.
Because I was there and I would have taken it.
Didn't.
No, because I was there.
There's no allegation.
No.
You know how this works, right?
I protected that child with my life.
I'm sure he appreciates it. Prior to the birth of Hunter, you and Ron participated in birthing classes?
I don't remember that.
That's
I don't remember that.
That would be a good thing, right?
I would think so, but I honestly don't remember that.
And was Ron there for the birth?
He was there for the birth of Hunter, yes.
And did Ron do things that fathers do for the child?
I don't remember what Ron did. I know that the room wasn't decorated because I know he didn't want to draw attention to us. I know my grandma did say he looked happy that he got a boy.
And then you testified on direct examination about Ron told you that you wanted to move to Waukesha County and that he wasn't involved. So he told you that, right?
So he'd be out in Oaxaca County.
And you knew why, right?
I didn't. I know that 3 people were being investigated for the death of Katie. That's what I knew.
And this is 6 years after the death of Katie, right? When you're
When,
having these
yes,
conversations with Ron.
yes.
Okay. And by that time, do you know that Ron is divorced from Christy, right?
Of course.
And that Alexandra was taken from them through no new allegation of abuse, just because of the unresolved
Correct.
So Ron's cautionary advice to you was, don't tell them I'm involved because my name's Hunter. It's rather nice of him to tell you that, right? Thoughtful.
Okay.
But that's why he did it, right?
No.
I don't know why he did it. He didn't share a lot of that with me. I didn't know why he did it.
But you know all of that now, right?
Now I do,
Yes.
27 years later.
Sure, and you heard yesterday the testimony of all that happened.
But if I would have known the facts back then, I probably would have had Hunter and left right away because I would have never given up Hunter.
But that's what he shared with you, and that's why he shared it, correct?
Right.
Seriously?
Um,
Dang.
you testified in direct examination about Ron had at his apartment this picture of Katie that he kept out,
Correct.
and that's what drew your attention to that whole issue, correct?
That's what drew me to ask who the baby was.
Pardon?
I asked who the baby was.
Right. So he didn't try to hide it from you, did he?
No, he said that she died of SIDS, and then later he made up other excuses.
But my question was, he didn't try to hide it.
No, the baby was on the wall.
Nothing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Torbenson?
Counsel used the word thoughtful to describe the defendant, saying, don't talk about me when you go to the hospital. So who were those thoughts filled out protecting?
Himself.
Himself, right? Was he thinking of you? Objection, speculation,
Sustained.
argumentative.
Sustained.
Did you believe he was thinking of you when he told you that?
No,
Did you believe he was thinking of Hunter
No.
when he told you that?
no,
Would you use the word thoughtful to describe his actions?
no.
What word would you use to describe that?
Oh, the pen is moved.
I don't- At the time, the word was confused. Now I think suspicious. Now I think, I don't know. What are you hiding? Why can't I tell people that you're the father of Hunter?
Counsel brought up the picture that was in the house, in his apartment. You asked him about that picture once, right?
Yes,
And one of the times he mentioned SIDS, right?
yes,
Was there another time where things turned violent because you asked him about his past?
yes.
Tell us again about that.
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
What did that tell you about whether or not you could ask that man questions about his past?
You couldn't ask questions that would be about something bad.
What would happen to you if you asked questions of that man about his past? What would happen to you?
Something bad. You get hit. You get kicked. It could be body slammed. I don't know.
You said a couple things under cross-examination I want to go into a little bit further. The first one you said is that when the defendant went around Hunter, Hunter would react. Tell this jury about Hunter's reaction whenever this defendant would go around Hunter.
He would scream. He was scared. My stepdad, it wasn't men because my stepdad could hold him. He'd be great. And Ron would go towards Hunter and Hunter would just cry.
You said something about the respiratory issues magically, your word was magically,
Mhm.
went away. Tell this jury about that.
It was crazy.
Becca. Yes, Tracy, that was the jury. That's the second time we've seen the jury. Like, I feel like, when you go to a movie theater or a play or, I don't know, sporting event, and your seat's like in the middle of the row, so you got to scoot by everybody. I feel like that's what this cameraman does like every 5 minutes, is to scoot by people. It's awful. Yeah, but yeah, that's a jury. That's a jury. I think her boobs are. She's a DV victim. So they're not showing her face. So she was a girlfriend, the ex-wife, they didn't show her face. And then the next witness is another ex-wife and they won't show her face. And she's wearing a pretty deep V-neck. So the trial didn't take place in 1991, but the crime did. We have one more witness, and then I'm going to make you dislike this guy even more than you probably already do. No, remember that courtroom? You remember we had this conversation last week. The courtroom in Tennessee where we lost the feminine hygiene product. That room was divided like freaking grocery store entrance. All the glass was up there, and then you had a door that you had to go through. It actually had a door. I don't think this one does. So they're out behind the glass. I don't know. I don't know where he is, but he's behind the glass, and I don't know why there's glass. I don't know. She's almost done. And then we'll get to the last witness. And then I'm just gonna, you just wait. You won't like this guy. I already don't like him. And the whole dog thing, sorry, you don't hurt children, you don't hurt the elderly, and you don't hurt animals. And dude, you did 2 out of 3. Don't like you.
He was so sick when I was with Ron. He was in and out of the hospital. And then when I finally got strong enough to leave him, Hunter wasn't sick anymore. He didn't have breathing problems. He didn't spit up. And we were spit up on all the time. He didn't do it anymore. And it wasn't like I was with Ron when he was a baby and I left him when Hunter was 5. He was still a little kid that was spitting up. And there was no more trips to the emergency room. There was no more sitting there looking at him in an oxygen tent, not knowing what I'm supposed to do. It was like magically gone.
Any further questions?
Thank you. Mr. Glenn? Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kowalczyk. You can step down. Exhibits, there are a couple of defense exhibits up here.
So Becca, I thought that too. But I think that was, you know how some like shirts come down, but they have an opening right there. And then I think the chains were connected to the opening. Does that make sense? Like there was a hole. There was a hole in her shirt where the chains were connected to. But I had to look at it really close because it was all blurry. Not on my fault end, but maybe. Hang on, I gotta do something real quick. Because my computer is being dumb. Or maybe it's YouTube. I'm not sure, but there we go. All right. Maybe I fixed it. I just have a tendency to give people good pauses. Hello, Zach. How you doing? Our little tadpole had an exciting evening last night, so I think she's sleeping and not here. All right. I apologize in advance. I can't help where the cameraman's pointing his camera. There's more boobs. Let me just fast forward and we shall get there. So, boob alert.
Chafee.
Yes, I had to keep looking at like, what in the world is Becca doing in her profile picture?
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you. You can have a seat there. Speak clearly into the microphone. State your name and spell it for the record.
My name is Nicole Chafee, Nicholechaffee.
Thank you. We're going to start with Mr. Torbenson.
Morning, Ms. Chafee.
Morning.
Do you know a person by the name
Oh, there's her face.
Yes, I do.
How do you know him?
He is my ex-husband.
Do you see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
So noted.
Can you tell us how you first met the defendant?
I was working for a printing company as a receptionist, and he was a sales rep for the staffing company that we used.
When was this time frame wise?
I believe 1998.
When did you start dating the defendant?
In 1999.
1999?
Yes.
At some point, did the two of you move in together?
Yes.
When was that?
I believe 2001.
2001?
Yes.
Tell me about what it was like when you were in a dating relationship with the defendant.
It was exciting. I got a lot of attention. He was very affectionate. Wanted to spend time with me. He was very charming.
Did you spend an increasing amount of time with the defendant?
Yes, I believe so.
Did the defendant ever do anything like give you a pager or a cell phone?
No.
You said you moved in with the defendant in about 2001,
Yes.
and I want to fast forward to 2004. We'll come back to the time frame between 2001 and 2004. But did you become pregnant?
Yes.
And did you give birth to a daughter named Hannah?
Yes.
When was Hannah born?
November 29th, 2004.
November 29th of 2004.
Yes.
And when Hannah was born she born premature?
Yes.
Do you remember, did she have to stay in the hospital for a period of time after she was born?
Yes.
How long did Hannah have to stay in the hospital before she was released?
I believe it was 4 weeks, maybe 5.
When Hannah was released from the hospital, did she come home to the house that you shared with Ron?
Yes.
How were things when Hannah initially came home?
Very quiet, fairly tense. She was born 9 weeks premature, and she was 3 pounds 1 ounce when she was born. One of the markers for her to come home was that she was to gain up to be 4 pounds. So she was just over 4 pounds when she came home. She was teeny tiny. They sent her home on an apnea monitor. They said that preemies that are born that early sometimes forget to breathe. So the apnea monitor was just a precaution. We were instructed not to have too many visitors, not to really take her any place if it wasn't necessary outside of doctor's appointments. They said babies use a lot of energy to adjust to their surroundings, and she needed all of her energy to go to weight gain.
When Hannah came home, who were the caretakers for Hannah at that house, at your house?
Mostly me, but Ron was home as well.
Mostly you, but also the defendant?
Yes.
I want to talk to you about January 7th of 2005. Did something happen with Hannah on January 7th of 2005 that resulted in her going to the hospital?
Yes.
Tell us about what happened with Hannah before she went to the hospital on January 7th of 2005.
I know she had eaten. I don't remember exactly who fed her. I think Ron.
Hey, Momo Shark. It's been a day. It's been a minute. How are you? I hope you are doing well. It's good to see you. This part might be a little hard to hear. It's about an infant. She is alive. This one is. Gabby, I don't know what to do with you. Should I move these up? Should I move the closed captionings up? I don't know what to do with them. And the camera can't focus on anything. Yeah, we won't see her face. So, hey, it's been a minute since I've even been here. So, I get a day minute. Holy crap. 1.5 pounds. And this child is probably around that age because I'm trying to, let me look at my notes. So she was born in 2004. So 20. I hear you. I had a doctor's appointment, so I'll switch it around with you, but I hear you. And if I could put googly eyes up there, I would, you guys. I'm just not that talented. I'm about as I'm just a little my talent level is a little above this cameraman's.
Ron fed her. I don't remember exactly. After her feeding, she was upstairs in her, I believe her carrier, her car seat. We kept her in that most of the time because she was so small. I was downstairs and I heard her apnea monitor go off. She was crying and I was about to go check on her and I heard her apnea monitor go off. And I was told that her monitor would go off if her heart rate increased or decreased significantly and or if she had stopped breathing for a certain period of time. I don't remember how long that was. So I ran upstairs when her monitor went off. Ron was already up there with her. He had her in the bathroom. She was crying and her monitor had gone off and I was instructed that if it did, to call 911 and tell them that I have a premature baby at home on an apnea monitor and that it had gone off, and that is what I told them. They sent paramedics. I remember a police officer had shown up first. I stayed by the door downstairs to wait for the paramedics, and he went upstairs with Ron and Hannah. And I remember hearing her crying. I remember those two talking, and I heard things said that made me think that the officer was performing CPR on her. And then the ambulance showed up and they took her to Children's Hospital.
I want to talk about you said there was a feeding given to Hannah and then she was upstairs.
Yes.
Where were you when Hannah was upstairs after that feeding?
I believe I was in the kitchen. I feel like I was washing the dishes at the time.
The residence that you were living in with the defendant at this point in time, can you describe how kind of the floor plan on the first floor and the second floor?
It was a 2-story home. When you walked into the house, there was a living room and there were stairs next to.
I do not know what this cameraman is doing. It sounds like he's opening, I said it the other day, sounds like he's opening like a 1980s Velcro wallet. Give somebody $1. You untuck it. I mean, ah. I don't know what he's doing. Tracy, good one. It's good. Oh, goodness. Yes, with the chain. Yes. You know what I'm talking about. It's so loud. So I don't know what he's doing. Or maybe a woman. I don't know. We've not seen the cameraman. We've just seen her poor work.
To the living room that went upstairs. Between the stairs and the living room, there was a hallway that entered the kitchen on one side behind the first living room and the second living room off to the other side, kind of underneath the stairs.
In the second floor?
Second floor, we had 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. I know there was a bedroom on each side of the hallway, and I don't know where the second bedroom and bathroom were, probably right next to those, at the top of the stairs.
When you were downstairs in the kitchen after Hannah was given this feeding and Hannah was upstairs, what room was Hannah in the upstairs?
When I went upstairs, she was in the bathroom with Ron. Before that, she was probably in our bedroom in her carrier, which is where we usually kept her as she slept.
Do you remember where the defendant was when you were downstairs doing the dishes?
I remember when I went upstairs, he was in the bathroom with her. Before her monitor went off, I know he was upstairs.
He was upstairs, in the upstairs portion of
He
the
was in
residence?
the upstairs, yes.
Where Hannah was?
Yes.
Was anyone else home during this time frame other than the defendant, Hannah, you?
My older daughter, Haley, who was about 2.5 at the time.
2.5 at the time?
Yes.
So you hear the apnea monitor go off and you run upstairs, and when you run upstairs, you see the defendant and Hannah in the bathroom?
Yes.
What do you see with regards to Hannah? What does she look like?
She was crying. Ron was holding her in front of him. That's pretty much all I remember.
Do you remember anything with suctioning?
I do.
Tell us about that.
I remember he had the suction ball, I guess you would call it, in his hand. I don't remember seeing him using it on her.
Do you see any blood on Hannah?
I don't specifically remember that, but I read my statement, and I know that it was in the police reports and in my statement. And after reading that again, I vaguely remember blood being mentioned, but I don't remember that.
Okay, you don't have an independent memory of it, but you read it in the reports?
I don't. It sounds familiar when I read it in the report, but I don't physically remember it right now.
Okay. So who called 911?
I did.
Do you remember, and this is an unfair question, do you remember approximately how long it took for 911 to get to your house?
It seemed like a really long time.
Where were you when you were making that phone call?
I was in the bathroom with Hannah and Ron.
You said that officers were the first to arrive, at least one officer?
One officer, yes.
Okay. And you heard sounds that sound like the officer may have been doing CPR?
Yes.
When the ambulance arrived at your residence, tell us what happened next.
I don't really remember that too much. I remember they went upstairs. I had Haley with me at some point. I don't remember if she was sleeping at the time and I got her up, but I was getting her ready because I knew that we would have to go to the hospital with Hannah. I remember the paramedics taking Hannah into the ambulance. Ron went with her and I took Haley and met them at the hospital.
was admitted to the hospital, did they about the injuries that Hannah had?
That night, I don't think it was that night. I remember that her body temperature had lowered. They were trying to raise her temperature, and there was something about her oxygen. She wasn't getting enough oxygen as she breathed. And that was their main focus. I was told at some point of her injuries, it may have been the next day. It was probably the next day. I was told that she had multiple rib fractures and that her leg was broken.
Multiple rib fractures and her leg was broken?
Yes.
What was it like hearing that news?
It was shocking and confusing and very scary.
Based on that information, did law enforcement recall involved in investigating injuries to Hannah?
Yes,
You were interviewed by law enforcement?
yes.
Prior to that meeting that morning, did you observe Hannah's body?
Probably. I had changed her quite a few times throughout the day. Since she was so tiny, her diapers were too big on her, and she would usually wet her through her clothes.
At some point while she was at the hospital, were you informed of bruising to her abdomen?
Yes,
Do you remember seeing that bruising at the hospital?
I don't remember seeing that. No,
You don't remember seeing it?
no,
Did she have bruising on her abdomen prior to being hospitalized that morning that you recall?
no.
Were you ever shown pictures of the bruising to her abdomen?
Yes,
Would you recognize those pictures if you were to see them in court today?
probably yes.
Does she need to? So remember her broken leg.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as States Exhibit 60.
There's the glass.
Do you recognize those photos?
Yes,
Grab those photos up.
Hannah's abdomen.
I moved 63 and 64 down.
Also remember the bruises on the abdomen.
Exhibits 63 and 64 are received and marked and may be published. You're just passing them around? Okay, all right, thank you.
I think this takes a second. So I'm going to L it because he's passing those around to the jury. He lost his pen and I'm a little sad. Good grief. It's almost even worse when I fast forward. Hello, everybody in the courtroom. The judge does have plexiglass, right? What is that doing? Somebody tell me. What is that divider doing? Thanks for zooming in on it so I can get a closer look of it doing nothing. I think we're done. Hello again, ladies. I did. In all fairness, I asked why it was there.
So in the time frame that you lived with the defendant and Hannah was home, did you ever do anything to cause those bruises on Hannah's abdomen?
No,
Did you ever do anything to cause the fractured leg to Hannah?
no,
Did you ever do anything to cause the rib fracture that Hannah sustained?
no.
Who was the only other person that lived with you that could have done those things?
I'll just ask Mr. Torbenson then to rephrase, please.
I'll rephrase it. Who was the only other adult caretaker in the home for Hannah during that time frame?
Ron,
I want to talk to you about the time frame that you were married with Ron up until that date, okay? During that time frame, was there ever any domestic violence between you and the defendant?
no,
Was he ever verbally abusive to you?
I wouldn't necessarily call it verbally abusive. He was manipulative, he was condescending. When he was angry with me, he would, I was always to blame. He would say nasty things.
He'd say nasty things to you?
Yes.
Can you give us an example of some of the nasty things he said?
He was upset after a bad day at work and had picked a fight with me. This was before Hannah was born. Haley was a baby. And I just remember he was yelling most of the night. He didn't necessarily call me fat, but he made a comment as to how I could hold a pencil with my butt cheeks. Things along those lines. He would call me lazy if the house wasn't clean to his specifications.
Did he have specifications or expectations for you on how the house needed to be kept?
He did, yes.
Were those expectations routine?
Yes.
I agree. What?
You said things never progressed to the point where you had physical violence with him. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
You described his conduct and his behavior as manipulative. What do you mean by that?
The way that he spoke, there was a lot of, how do you think that makes me feel when you do this? If you don't feel that you can handle that, I can take it away from you. If you don't think you can handle the responsibility, things like that.
Is this how he would communicate with you on a regular basis?
Fairly regular.
During the time frame that you were with the defendant, did he talk about Captain Schroeder at all or her passing at all?
It was discussed. I don't know. I don't remember if he would bring it up on his own, but he had fairly regular visits with his older daughter. So that situation was discussed.
What about his prior relationship with Brenda and the son Hunter?
The entire time we were together, I believe in the beginning when we were first dating, he had mentioned that he would see Hunter, but I wasn't around for that. He would mention Brenda. He mentioned that Brenda wasn't allowing him to see Hunter.
After Hannah goes to the hospital in January of 2005, tell us what happens next with you and with the defendant.
I was interviewed by the police. He was interviewed by the police. The hospital told me her injuries were most likely due to abuse, but they were also testing for a disease. I don't remember the name of it, but basically the disease caused very brittle bones that were easy to break. They took a sample of her skin to test for that, and I was told that she did not have that.
You were told she did not have brittle bones.
Correct.
You were present for the opening statements in this case. You heard brittle bones being mentioned during the opening statements, right?
Yes,
And you're telling us that was ruled out.
that was ruled out.
All right. So I think it's called osteopenia or something like that. She was diagnosed with that according to the uh the woman that I'm going to recap. I'll show you the picture of the woman so you know who I'm talking about. That she did have soft bones. It won't matter. It won't matter when I tell you what had to happen for that little baby to get a broken leg. And I could see her having to run on a treadmill and sing her set list for 3.5 hours to be able to do the shows that she does and the amount of shows that she does. Hats off to her. But Indianapolis is going nuts, like nuts. The ticket prices are crazy, and they're getting higher, I'm sure, by the day, people selling them. But she became a billionaire doing this tour, so you go get it, Tay. Don't get Swifties mad at me, though. I do not want any Swifties mad at me. Yeah, she's like, I don't have any issues with her. I just don't want to be in the wake of her. I don't want to be in that mess. I'm glad that Carmen flew out last weekend, not this weekend. Holy crap. All right, we got about 10 minutes left of this witness. And then I will I'll bring up who I'm going to recap in just a second. I'm going to speed her up a little bit though, because I think she can be sped up. Pick it up, lady. If it's too fast, let me know.
So after that is done, do you and the defendant stay together?
Yes.
How long do you stay together for?
When Hannah was still in the hospital, I don't remember how long she was there. When she was still in the hospital, both of my girls were taken by CPS from my custody. They were put into my parents' custody. CPS told me that I could live with my parents as long as my parents supervised my contact with them, but I was able to live with my girls with my parents. Ron was also allowed supervised contact to be supervised by my mom. I think both of my parents, but I know for sure my mom.
Did you make the decision to move in with your parents?
Yes.
And in making that decision, you made the decision to move out of the residence of the defendant that you shared with him?
Yes.
Did the defendant have a reaction to that?
He agreed with it.
Did there come a time after you left the residence that you shared with the defendant and you were living with your parents where you saw a different side of the defendant with regards to his anger?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury about that?
I don't remember how long it was. It might have been a year after that or within that first year of everything happening with my kids being taken from me. At some point, I was at the house that he and I shared. We were cleaning it out. I was taking my things. Things were fairly agreeable between us. I believe I had filed for divorce at that point, and we were both at the house taking care of things. And we were discussing something, and he wasn't happy with whatever the discussion was or whatever I said, and I had my back turned in the kitchen, and he was kind of across the kitchen from me taking care of something, and I felt the vacuum run into my leg. And I turned around, and he had the vacuum before when I had my back turned. And when I turned around and looked at him, the look on his face terrified me. So I immediately called my mom and got out of the house and told her what happened, and I left.
Kind of want to walk through that a little step by step. You said that the vacuum was by him and you had your back turned to him.
Yes,
Then the vacuum hit you in the back of your leg.
yes.
Can you describe the amount of force when that vacuum hit you?
There was enough force to get it across the room, but it didn't hurt. I didn't have a bruise. It didn't topple over from the force, but it was a strange thing. The vacuum was across the room with him. All of a sudden, it was running into my leg.
Was anything said by the defendant to you when that happened?
I don't remember that, no.
Being struck with the vacuum after it's traveled across the room and hits you in the back of the leg caused you to turn around and look at the defendant's face, though.
Yes,
You said the look in the defendant's face terrified you.
yes.
Describe the look that you saw in the defendant's face.
It was very angry.
Have you seen that face from this defendant before?
No.
And it was enough to have you call for your parents?
Yes, it sounds insignificant, and I feel a little silly talking about it, but I had never had anything like that happen to me. And all I have ever heard about his history, I could not take that chance.
You saw his face and you knew something about his history at that point in time, right?
Yes,
And you made the decision to call your parents.
yes.
That doesn't sound silly to me. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Glenn?
Is he going to blame her 2-year-old daughter?
Hannah was diagnosed by the doctors at Children's Hospital not having little bone disease, correct?
I wouldn't say diagnosed. They told me they ruled it out.
But she had osteopenia, right? Weaker bones because of the premature. You recall that?
I don't remember that, no.
So if they told you that, you just don't remember today.
Correct.
And you know that during the course of that chaotic event, that Ron tried resuscitation efforts and police officers tried resuscitation, is correct?
I believe I was told Ron did. I don't remember that. And I don't remember being present for that.
And they discussed at the hospital the possibility of that harming Hannah.
I don't remember them discussing that possibility, no.
All right, so let's go back. You guys met, dated, you eventually got married. You had a daughter named Haley, correct?
Haley, yes,
Haley was 2.5 years older than Hannah,
yes,
and Haley was daddy's girl.
yes,
Ron took her wherever he was going, to the thrift store, Target, wherever. He was alone with her a lot, right?
yes,
Never any issue or concern or problem.
no,
And never any, Ron never hit or slapped or punched Haley or Hannah, correct?
I wasn't witness.
Sustained.
Only to the information that she knows.
If you could rephrase, please, Mr. Glenn.
Ronnie had a good relationship with Haley.
There wasn't much time to have a relationship with Hannah. With Haley, yes.
To the extent possible.
I suppose.
And then subsequent to, so what happened was, is this brought the attention of law enforcement and CPS, and just as we heard previously happened, they said you either have to, he has an unresolved death in 1991, and if you're going to stay with him, it's him, right?
No, that was never said to me.
They just said you have to move out.
No, I was not told I have to move out.
If the kids were leaving, and you wanted to, you had to go to your parents.
That is not what they told me, no.
What did they tell you?
They told me that my children were being removed from my care and that my parents would have custody and placement of them. And any contact I had had to be supervised, and my parents were approved to supervise my contact. They told me I was free to live with my parents if I would like to, but I was not told that I had to.
Oh, okay. And Ron came over to the house, your parents' house, right?
He did.
Visited with Haley and Hannah. Still had good positive interaction, correct?
For the most part.
He got them presents, he participated in activities at your parents' house, did the things that a father does with the kids in that situation, correct?
At times.
Did he or did you?
At times, yes.
So he did. And you have, I don't know if you still have, but there's lots of photos of Haley and Hannah and Ron interacting either at your parents' house or at your home you share together.
Yes.
And after Hannah's took ill and was taken to the hospital and the investigation began, they then, CPS came and checked out Haley, correct?
Yes.
They did a full bone scan of Haley, they checked her out from head to toe, correct?
Yes.
And there was absolutely no problem.
They said there was no history of injuries. No.
Pardon me?
They said there was no history of injuries.
I have nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Tormenson.
The reason why Hannah and Haley were taken out of the residence was because CPS believed that Hannah was physically abused. Is that right?
Yes.
It wasn't about the past with Ron and Catherine, right? It was about what happened to Hannah.
It was about what happened to Hannah.
Thank you.
Mr. Quinn.
What happened to Hannah took place in Waukesha County, correct?
Correct.
It was investigated by Waukesha County.
Yes.
And it was over something, right?
Yes.
No proceedings, no court proceedings.
Oh, there were lots of court proceedings.
It's all done, right?
It is all done now. Yes.
And you have nothing to offer the jury as to July 22nd, 1991 or
No.
is correct?
It is correct. I have nothing to offer. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Jaffe. You may step down.
That was hard to hear because I know what happened to poor little Hannah. I'm going to read it to you in just a second. But I want to show you, and the only reason I'm not playing this doctor's testimony, she's very good, but it's long, like 4.5 hours. long time. I gotta remember which video it's on. But I do want you to see what she looks like, just because, so you know who I'm talking about. I keep disappearing. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi, or I don't have Wi-Fi on. So it's really bugging me because it keeps acting like I do. This woman is, she's very, very smart. Very smart. It took forever just to get through her CV. Go away. This is her. She is a professor of the Medical College of Wisconsin, a child abuse pediatrician. She's been a child abuse pediatrician since 1998. She's from Kansas. She went to Duke. She's got all kinds of board certifications. She's got all kinds of awards. She's done all kinds of studies. She is extremely smart. And she reviewed Hannah, who we just heard from her mother. She reviewed her records, and then she reviewed Catherine, who this entire case is about. She reviewed her records. She was asked to review them in June of 2021. So she started her review then. This woman is busy. Trust me. She finished her review of both of and submitted her report in February of 2023. So Hannah, at the time of her injuries, was 39 days old. She was admitted to the hospital on January 7th of 2005. I believe she was born in November 2004. And then she was in the hospital for 10 days. She had multiple bruises, and many were petechial bruises. So, like those little pinpoint bruises. So, they were on her face, her eyelids, the whites of her eyes, left cheek, right side of her scalp, chin, and a lot on her lower chest, on her sternum, and on her abdomen. So, 39 days old. This happened just while Looney Booney was on trial, Becca. So they just did this trial. It started October 15th. So I'm not sure he had to be charged sometime probably after her report was done in 2023. Yeah, absolutely, Tracy. Absolutely. But sadly, there's more. She had 2 areas of bruising on her right leg. She had, sorry, I didn't know what else to call her because she's a loon. 2 areas of bruising on her right leg. She had what this doctor called patterned bruising on her abdomen, which I'm going to go back and read Catherine's injuries. So did Catherine. And if I call Catherine Katie, sometimes it's the same thing because they have done both names, and I have both names written down because as I was listening. So she has the similar patterned bruising on her abdomen as Catherine, both on the right side. This doctor also talks about how abdominal bruising on babies is really, really rare because she's like, I just don't see it. It's just, she said, really, it's hard to bruise. You think an infant like would be really easy to bruise, but it's hard to bruise an infant, and it's really hard to bruise their abdomen. She said you see bruises on the face, the neck, the arms, the legs more if you're going to see them anywhere. So they did a skeletal survey of baby Hannah. She had multiple rib fractures. She had 4 rib fractures. Oh, I'm getting to it, Tracy. She had 4 rib fractures that were healing when she was admitted. She had 13 acute rib fractures, most on the right side, a few on the left side. She had 17 total rib fractures. So we have 12 ribs on each side. And she had 17 rib fractures. She was not punched. I will tell you that. She had 2 long bone fractures. This is when I said, remember the broken leg. So in her right knee, one fracture was in the femur at the knee, the other in her knee and tibia, so shin, so lower leg. She said these fractures are caused by pulling, twisting, or a yank and twist. That was like, it was so hard listening to all of this morning, and she's, like I said, she's very good, but she likes to go into other details that we don't necessarily need. So Catherine, sorry, my paper's rattling. She was admitted to the hospital on August 25th, 1991. She was pulseless, not breathing, no heartbeat. The 911 call came in at 12:18 a.m. EMS arrived 5 minutes later. CPR was started and continued until 2:50 a.m. Doctors were breathing for her. She had a tube. She was given fluids. Like, they were doing everything to keep her alive. She did finally regain a heartbeat, and she was admitted to the ICU. The doctors did similar testing on her as they eventually would do on Hannah. So her CT results, and this is where Hannah got lucky. because she didn't have this. Catherine's brain was so swollen, it was pushing the bony plates apart. So you think about the baby having a soft spot up here. It was pushing that apart. It was pushing down the back, out the back. And she had a contusion on the frontal lobe of her brain. And the doctor said, those are fatal injuries. So that day that we saw that video of her in the video store where she's just sitting there staring, those injuries were already, she couldn't say 100% sure, like, but they probably were already present at that time. That's why she's just sitting there staring. That's why she is I didn't even realize, like, she had, I mean, I kind of did, but when she said it, it really hit it, like hammered it home. She had no expression on her face whatsoever. And then when he put his foot over her face, she never even reacted to it. And they asked her about him going home and taking the baby home and hitting 2 metal pans together in front of her like he did. And she's like, you could tell it pissed her off. She said, highly inappropriate for one. But so Catherine blinked and he said, oh, good, she's not deaf. She said, if you go do that to a baby, you know, bang 2 metal pans together, they're going to react very startled, probably going to cry. Like, they're not just going to just blink like, okay. And Hannah, she said, also would not be able to eat because of all the swelling that was happening. It was just shutting those things down. And Becca, you're on the right path she said those brain injuries were as a result of, she said, shaking, slamming, or throwing. They don't know which one it was. She had retinal hemorrhages, bruises on the inside coating of the eye. Both eyes had multiple hemorrhages. The chest x-ray results showed 4 healing rib fractures on her right side again. And this is what she was saying caused those rib fractures in her, in Catherine, and in Hannah. Squeezing. And she said even like squeezing the baby probably would not, like, it wouldn't leave bruises. But if you fracture the ribs, like, I've never had a broken rib. I've seen people that have. They look like they are in just horrible pain. So that, like she was saying, Hannah like couldn't take a breath. And Hunter, when that woman said Hunter couldn't take a breath, I wonder if he had fractured ribs that they missed, but are now healed, and that they wouldn't be able to eat. They would spit up because just the amount of pain they would be in would be awful. So Catherine had been admitted to the hospital July 22nd, so a month prior, and they said something happened between that time, and obviously something happened, but they think that she maybe had more rib fractures, like another squeezing incident at that time. All right, so I went through Hannah's. So then she made a chart, and unfortunately we didn't get to see the chart. But she did a similarities between Catherine's injuries and Hannah's injuries. So remember, Catherine didn't survive. Their ages at the time. She said Catherine was 7.5 weeks old. Hannah was 39 days old. But they both were preemies. So she did this whole like gestational age. And when you do that and put their age back, if they had stayed in the womb as long as they were supposed to, they were like days apart, gestational age wise, when these injuries happened. That I was just trying not to get too much into the weeds on that because it's kind of confusing. I was talking to Brie about it yesterday. Like, what is this? I had never heard of it before. They both were admitted with abdominal bruising or oral nasal bleeding. Remember, both talking, Hannah's mom, Catherine's mom, and then Hunter's mom talked about him having the bloody rag on their mouth. Difficulty breathing, regurgitation. They both had similar pattern bruising on both sides, on the right side. So they showed pictures of that, and she went down and explained on the pictures, but you can't hear her. And she would talk about the pattern being like linear. She wasn't sure kind of what was causing these injuries, but they were very similar on both girls. She said that she has never, because she is still working, seen so many bruises on the abdomen of a baby as she saw on these two girls, because it's so rare. It just doesn't happen. Both girls were admitted with respiratory distress associated with squeezing, similar fractures associated with squeezing, the rib fractures. So that's where that absolutely. The common denominator is all of these babies were alone with him when the injuries mysteriously happened. They were not full siblings, so different mothers. And the first one, Catherine, passed away in 1991. Hannah did not pass away in 2000. What I tell you, 2005 was when she was admitted to the hospital. So yes, he is the common denominator. So Catherine went to the doctor, like I said, on July 22nd, so a month before this happened, with a breathing episode. The doctor said she didn't look well. Her belly was distended, had bruising on it. The doctor had Catherine admitted to Children's Hospital that day. She had pattern bruising on her belly on the right side. She had bruising in her genital area, sores in the back of her mouth, sores on her bottom, and the defendant claimed there was no bruises on Catherine that morning. They weren't noticed until the doctor saw Catherine that afternoon. She was released July 24th, 1991, and she was back in the hospital August 25th, 1991, and didn't survive. So if you didn't like him before, you probably really don't like him now, because after I heard her testimony, I was like, what is happening? Becca, I don't know why it took so long to charge him. I have no idea what they were thinking back in 1991, that they didn't have proof. I don't know if they've never said, like, they investigated it. That's why he was talking, like they were asking the other two women in this guy's life. You talk to investigators in 1998 and again in whatever the years were, I don't remember. So they had investigated it off and on, but why they just charged him now when he should have been charged way back in 1991 is beyond me. I don't know. So the the woman defense attorney gets up to cross-examine this woman here on the stand. And it's really long. So that's just the only reason I'm not playing it, is because, like I said, she's on the stand for 4.5 hours. But man, did she outmatch that defense attorney. That she just didn't even know what to do. She kept correcting her. And it was hilarious. I didn't watch all of it because I ran out of time. But yeah, this woman, she knows what she's talking about. I wish that we would have heard her first instead of the medical examiner. Her testimony was way better than uh, the medical examiners and a lot easier to understand. She did use a lot of technical terms, but not as much as the medical examiner used. And she made sure to put it in layman's terms. Very good. But she doesn't take anybody's crap. I can tell you that right now. Like, you're not going to get anything past her. Yeah. It was messed up enough that the defense showed it in the first place. I don't understand that. I've never understood that. And then when we hear what that poor child was sitting there going through that entire time, and let's remember how bundled up she was, because this doctor brought that up. It's August. It's not cold, not even in Wisconsin. And she is bundled. No, this was a case in Wisconsin that happened 30 years ago, but they just charged him. The trial just took place started October 15th. And it is a man that is accused of unaliving his 7-week-old daughter. At that time, they were calling it shaken baby syndrome. I was just going, and then so that woman leaves him. He has another woman. She gets pregnant. He did hurt her son, but not to the extent that these poor 2 little girls were hurt. And then he had another woman that he had a baby with, and she's very lucky that she lived. And I hope that she's well. I hope that she's like living a good life. I really do. I'm not going to play closings because you can't hear the dumb defense attorney. And she's standing at the podium. She's right there. She doesn't move. She just doesn't take a microphone with her. Yeah, he just needs a vasectomy because he clearly doesn't like kids, and he's really not nice to the women. He's Emma Kenny. I don't think you've mentioned her to me. Yeah, these kid cases, Beckett, they're so hard. Yet, so him and his first wife, Christine, had another daughter, and she's fine. Like, there wasn't really a whole lot of mention about her other than they had a daughter. A little girl named Star Hobson happened a while ago, but I think about her all the time. You probably think about her like I think about Mercedes Lasoya. That little girl, I will never get. We didn't see the video. We heard the video. I will never get that out of my mind, ever. It was so bad. Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. Absolutely. And in this one case, Gabby, this was one that we heard that didn't involve a boyfriend, that wasn't even the father of a child. It was the actual father of the children. All right. So, that being said, we'll go straight to the verdict. I'm sure you'll be shocked. Also, can I just, while I'm finding this, I will give this Fox 6 News Milwaukee a shout out, because all they say is verdict reached. Why, oh, why can just news channels don't say what the verdict is when the verdict's been reached? Let us find out. You know, they're all like, so and so was found guilty today, or so and so was found innocent today, or acquitted today. Okay, well, I don't need to watch your story then, do I? Like, just let us find out what happened. All right, judge. Judge. All righty. Also, you missed the prosecutor. The prosecutor with the pin behind his ear, he made a joke to the judge, and the judge didn't quite know how to take it. I was like, that's hilarious. You do have a sense of humor. Because the judge gave them an hour each for closings, and he's like, oh, okay, so I have an hour before and after. And the judge was like, what? I thought I was clear. He's like, I was kidding. Calm down. He's like, yeah, I'm just over this case, over this trial. Momo Shark, are you asking vasectomies for who? Is that what you're asking? Vasectomies for men like this guy, if that's what you're asking. Well, the openings went quite long, and one of the jurors was completely asleep, he said. So he was like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Closings are an hour. Adjust your time accordingly. All right. I appreciate that, Tracy. I know it too, unfortunately. I really tried to avoid it, but you just can't because they can't not put it in the title. Oh, I don't know. Is there a verdict in the Ferris case? I did not watch that. I haven't because we were doing well, that one started before I came back, so I haven't been able I haven't seen it, but I did see they didn't have a verdict the other day when I looked. Thank you, Tracy. It sucks covering these little kid trials, but I will do them all the time because they do deserve a voice and they deserve to have their story out there. Probably. I just don't like it. Like, why do you have a 5-minute segment on the verdict when you just told me what it was? I don't need to watch it. Like, that's all I wanted to know. All right, let me know if I need to adjust the sound on this.
We're back on the record in this jury trial. The court did receive
I had everything sped up.
the jury that they had reached a verdict, and I've reviewed those verdict forms. They are properly executed. So this time I'm going to ask the jury to come into the courtroom, and I'll read those verdicts into the record. Before we do that, I just want to note Mr. Torbenson is not available, correct?
Aw.
Deputy Torbenson indicated he's unavailable for the verdict. I double checked with him because I'm uncomfortable with him not being here. He indicated that I need to take it.
Thank you. All right, we'll proceed then. Deputy, please bring in the jury.
I wonder if his pins hurt.
Yes. Yes.
And I do not want to say your name wrong. I can say the second and last part of it right. How do you say is the first part just how it sounds? Is it Toy La Carissa? La Carissa? Sorry if I just absolutely butchered that. Toy. Okay. I was going to say toy. But that was the part. I do think the pen went missing. I do. I think the bald-headed lawyer took it just to be a jerk. He was standing behind him sometimes quite like aggressively. Oh, I won't do that. I won't do that. But thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. All right, let's get this done. Then I got a thing. I got to tell you a couple things. I was hoping I would maybe have an update before I have to tell you. Don't worry, I'm not leaving. I'm telling you, the bald lawyer's got it. He's going to have it behind his ear. Yeah, purple bow tie on. Weird. This has the color for DV. And lots of other things. So maybe it's not weird. I'm just trying to fill in the dead air here.
Take your seats. The court did receive notice from the jury room that the jury has reached a verdict. I've reviewed those verdict forms. I'm going to read those into the record now. And after I've completed that reading, I'm going to poll you, members of the jury, meaning I'm just going to ask each of you if you agree with these verdicts. As to count one, we, the jury, find the defendant, Ronald E. Schroeder, guilty of first-degree reckless homicide in violation of Section 940.02 sub 1 of the Criminal Code of Wisconsin during the time and at the place charged in count one of the information, dated at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this 23rd day of October, 2024. As to count two, we, the jury, find the defendant, Ronald E. Schroeder, guilty of physical abuse of a child intentionally causing great bodily harm, as charged in count two of the information, dated at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this 23rd day of October, 2024. Again, signed by the foreperson. I'm going to start with the foreperson. I believe that's Ms. Santana. Ma'am, are these your verdicts?
Oh, don't say their
Go
names.
around. Next jury, are these your verdicts, ma'am? Okay, front row, are these your verdicts? Ma'am, are these your verdicts? Ma'am? Sir? Ma'am? Sir? Back row, ma'am? Sir? Sir? And sir? All right. Thank you very much, members of the jury. You're almost complete with your jury service. I'm just going to ask you to return to the jury room for a few minutes. I'll be back to meet with you in just a couple of minutes, and otherwise your jury service is complete. Again, thank you very much. We'll meet in just a few minutes. All rise for the jury, please.
So if I think I'm right, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. But because the crime took place in 1991, whatever law is in place in 1991, I think is what then that's how he can be sentenced. Yes. I would say their mother, the mother of Catherine was in the courtroom, and I bet that's her. And maybe his mom, because when his mom testified, she was already crying. It does sound like it. I think he's rocking a pin somewhere too. It's the reason that the reason they're talking about butt cheeks is because that guy that just was convicted is like horrible and made a comment about one of his women being able to hold a pen in her butt cheeks. It was stupid. We don't need to know. don't know. I'm not done yet. Don't go anywhere.
Motions?
State would ask the court to enter judgments consistent with the verdicts.
Thank you. I did preside over the trial. I heard and viewed the same evidence that the jury viewed. Based on that review and having reviewed the jury's verdicts, I believe they are consistent with the evidence produced at trial. With respect to all of the elements the state was required to prove as to those two offenses. The court does enter judgment on the verdicts for the state as to counts 1 and 2. Is there a request for remand?
The state would request remand.
That is standard at this time. The court does order remand for sentencing. Is either party requesting a PSI?
No.
All right, let's get a date. All right, I'm sure we can, well, let's look at the calendar off the record. How many individuals do you all expect to speak at sentencing?
I'd say a couple. I think we should wrap it off with.
Probably 2 hours?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that would be fair.
I'll ask Madam Clerk to find us a 2-hour slot, at least an hour and a half.
I would say I cannot.
November 26th at 9 a.m. I can't do the 19th. The rest of those days are fine. Let me look at. 25th at 3.
What month is she saying?
The 25th at 3.
Judge, you better say the month and day.
That was good for defense? I think that. Okay. All right, back on the record, Madam Clerk.
Next court date will be November 25th at 3 p.m. for a sentencing hearing in person in room 506 of the safety building. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Was there anything else? All right, thank you, everyone.
Oh,
Thank you as well. I think all the attorneys did a fine job in the case. I appreciate everyone's professionalism in the trial. For members of the public and families in the gallery, I anticipate many of you may be here for sentencing. And I'll hear from Mr. Schroeder at that time as well. All right, thanks, everyone.
yes.
Court is adjourned.
Wow.
Morning again, everyone.
Oop, sorry. I wonder who said congratulations. Wow. When I first saw this trial, I was like, 30 years. Do they have some new evidence? Like, what happened? No, they didn't. They just had new people look at it. That's what I think happened. The prosecutor that with the pen, he was the one that asked the doctor to take a look at it and write her report. She was probably the most important witness in this whole thing because everybody else was like, it's 30 years ago. We don't know. Like, we don't have any memory of it. They didn't know. She did a really good job. She tied it all together. And I know we didn't listen to her. I apologize, but listening to his exes, his and everything that happened. I'm sorry. You'd have to have the worst luck in the world to have that happen to every baby you've ever been around that you helped create. Please. Yeah, I don't, other than the report that it's probably not available, but I don't know that there's any, I don't know what else there is. So he was a clown, apparently. They were not allowed to talk about that. That would be the one thing that I would like to find. I don't know if was he a John Wayne Gacy clown? I don't have any idea what he was, but he was Silly the Clown. He got in trouble. He had to register as a, what do you guys call him? A pedo? So something happened. He was in jail. He was in prison. I don't know if he was still in prison at the time that when they charged him with this, because he's in custody. Obviously, he's in custody now. And the guy's not good. He's not a good guy. Yeah, he did give clowns a bad name. I don't mind him. Like, I can watch it. It doesn't bother me. But yeah. Yeah. So they were not allowed to bring any of that stuff in about him being a clown because they said it would be prejudicial. So I don't know. That I don't know. I was trying to kill time. So I had planned Monday, and I still have planned Monday to do a dual stream with Mo on Delphi. However, just the way, I was thinking about it today. Like, some people say, like, life's a box of chocolates, like freaking Forrest Gump. No. I mean, yes. Then it's like, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Okay, wow. And then I was like, no, life is like this. It's like a roller coaster. You're going up the hill, and then you go down the hill, and then you go up the hill, and you go down the hill. So I was climbing up the hill with my back and everything. It's like, yay, yay, it's all fixed. Yay, everything's great. Yay, I'm feeling better. Yay, I get to the top of the hill. And then my husband called me yesterday morning, which I told him to quit calling me in the morning because he never has good news. And his mom died early yesterday morning. So I am waiting. He is currently at the funeral home right now, making arrangements. My dog. Thank you. She was very ill for a while. She was in kidney failure. She apparently was at dialysis and started having chest pains, and so they told her to go to the hospital, and she went into cardiac arrest, and she had to do not resuscitate, so they didn't. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. It's a very strange situation. It's really odd. Carmen got mad at me because I'm like, can we just wait till Tuesday? Uh-oh. I see. Did Baker just come in? Here comes Baker. Oh, right on time. Right on time. Hello, muffin tops. How are you? Thanks, Baker. Hey, Zach again. So I have been waiting. Hey, Brandon. Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome to the jury pool. Thank you so, so much. It's fun when you guys come in. I feel weird now because I don't I don't I don't know how to continue the conversation that we were just having. I don't know what to do. I don't I don't know what to do. Oopsie, sorry. I meant to go here. I do not know what to do. Um, no, don't apologize. I'm going to apologize. Ah, hey, don't you run away, new member. Um, anyway, guys, I was just telling everybody that my mother-in-law passed away yesterday. And so yeah. Yeah, just let Zach do something. Yeah. So I'm yes, he does, Marissa. He does. Thank you. Like it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It just was like, well, okay. Now what do I do? What do I do with all of you? Because I wasn't telling anything fun. I wasn't talking about anything fun. Um, yes, Zach's telling about our flight. Anyway, I am Zach. I'll just let Zach talk. You just keep going. It is. I am waiting to see what the arrangements are. My husband is at the funeral home right now, and I was I was telling a story about how I was telling my daughter yesterday that I hope the service is on Tuesday, and can we please have the service on Tuesday? Because I have a stream scheduled with Mo on Monday. And please don't hate me because my daughter got mad at me when I said that. She was like, "Mom, why? How can you say that?" And I was like, "I'm telling you right now, your grandma is laughing. There's no doubt in my mind. She would say, I 100% agree with you. Have it on Tuesday." She would not just be like, "You awful person." She would agree with me. Um, so I have no idea. I thought I would have heard from him by now. Like, just, you know, stream the service. I did not whisper into your ear. Have you, Zach? Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm just waiting to see. I've let Mo know at least it happened because I had just like we were messaging back and forth, and we had just said, "Okay, okay, like we'll do it Monday," and then the phone rang, and I answered, and my husband said, "Why do you always answer the phone like that when I call in the morning?" And I said, "Because you never call with good news." And he didn't again. I know. I sent her a message back and was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And she's awesome. I'm just waiting to get the day so I know. And then I can go on from there. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, listen to Sue. 30 years ago you were -3? I don't think so. That's right. You listen to Sue. Thank you. It it's fine. It's it's just one of those things. Oh, and then yesterday, so I got that. We don't have it, like, we have no information on, we just know that she passed away. Um, but we had no information. And I walked in, I had to get an infusion yesterday, and I walked into the hospital, and the tech that took me back, her name was the same name as my mother-in-law's. I'm like, of course it is. Of course it is. Oh, hey, Jedi Jess. It's good to see you. Or is it Jemima? Or is it not anything with a J? And I'm hungry now and maybe need some pancakes. I saw you guys talking about that the other day. Yeah, Becca. It was weird. It was so weird. But so I had I figured I would like know by now. I don't know by now. So I don't know if I'll be here Monday. Um I hope I'm here Monday. I really, and it's no disrespect to my mother-in-law. Please don't take it that way. Um she wouldn't take it that way either. So just please don't think I mean any disrespect. I do hope the service is on Tuesday because I really want to do the stream on Monday. I have been looking so forward to it with Mo. This Delphi case is driving me crazy. And if you guys don't know, I live in Indiana. Mo and I live about 20 minutes apart from each other. So we live very close by each other. And this trial is driving me up the wall. So yeah, thank you, Zach. Thank you, everyone. It absolutely small world. Absolutely. Because we both live in very small towns. Just it's really funny. It's just odd to me. But so the plan is, as of right now, um, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, Jedi Jess. Or Jess. Or Jemima. I don't know what to call you. Jess. I'll just call you Jess. Yes. And we actually have dark humor over here too. I get in trouble for it from time to time. People think I'm like, why are you laughing? This trial's not funny. Like, then you obviously weren't watching because I never laugh at a bad trial. Like, I never laugh at the bad parts of a trial. Ever. So, whatever. Gabby will throw a shoe at you. Um, yes, we all miss the butt cheek. Yes. Yes, we don't want to cry. Sorry, my stomach's growling. Um, she would. She would be 100% fine. And I know that because I know she's 100% fine now. Like it's all good. She would be good. There's a couple people in my family, if they hear me say that, hell won't be a half mile away. And then I'll just be like, Gabby, just throw some shoes. So the plan is right now, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on Monday. That's still the plan until I hear differently. That's the plan. I will once I hear back and get some definite details of what's happening, then I will talk to Mo. If it can't be Monday, hopefully her and I can set up another day. I'd really like to recap the state's case because they rested yesterday. Um, so yeah, isn't that weird? Halloween. And my grandpa, he died today 24 years ago. So I'm like, did he really die on Halloween? And you guys fudged his numbers to make it November 1st. Just thinking like he would not want to die on Halloween. My mother-in-law wouldn't have cared. She's fine. She would be fine with it. So I cannot kill any more time, unalive any more time because I never kill time because I still have no messages. Oh, thank you, Brandon. You're addicted to champagne and Zach can't buy a room. We buy the whole wing. Well, Zach never invited me to one of those kinds of parties, so he abandoned me in our little tadpole and went on his way. But thank you, Brandon. I really, really appreciate that. Becca, your sister died on your dad's birthday? And then your dad died? Good grief. Thank you. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate it so much. Like I said, you guys came in and I was like, holy crap. I did not. I did not, Brandon. I did not create him. No matter what he says. If we had put the date on his gravestone, his birth date would have been next to hers. Yeah. Sometimes things just happen. Like my mother-in-law's birthday is the 7th. Thank you. I've just quit asking for child support at this point, Zach. It's okay. It's a pits of tiredness. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome and making things so much better. Yeah, Zach. I think you look older than me, Zach. Sorry. But maybe you're not. Hey, Kelly. How you doing? Thank you so much. 63 is the special age. Well, I'm not there yet. Also, Becca, you said you could do cool things with your toes. You should see my granddaughters. She's going to make a ton of money with those things. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. Does she have the longest toes? And she like grabbed a hold of her leg with her toe the other day. We were laughing so hard. Like, oh, there's just a ton of money to be made right there in horrible ways. You're 48 and a half. Dang it. I am older than you. You can never tell by Sarah Boone is 47 with no grades. I have to diet regularly. Yes. You don't want to be left out. Thank you, Gabby. Yes, clothed OnlyFans. But I'm telling you, there's some talent in those feet. She's only 4 months old, but it's coming out. I like put my finger, but she can almost do what is that? The Star Trek. I can't do it. Like the live long and prosper thing. She can almost do that, but with she could just use her big toe and their next toe and do that. It's just there. I'm telling you, it is just there. Barely hit the thumbs up, just sat down. Thank you, Momo Shark. Yes, the Vulcan, right? Well, uh, I don't need any videos of your toes. But there may be people out there that want them. I mean, if you want to put them in the Discord, you have your own special place, Becca, in the Discord. So if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to have the toe show. All you have to remember in life is request to down. Wherever you're at, karaoke, and everything is going to be just fine. It's like, oh my gosh. Sorry, my daughter lives in Texas. Oddly enough, I know somebody else that lives in Texas. Zach. And she probably would kill me, unalive me. She got her own tab, Zach. She did. Gabby was like, here, Becca, here is the spot for you. And Becca uses it quite often. Well, well. Hey, I was just in there the other day talking to you. We were talking about horses. I just, they're pretty to look at. I've never read another one because we all know what happened. But yes, visit Becca's tab in my Discord. My Discord is free. You can join it. And Becca has her own tab in there. It's got a lot of stuff. All Becca's. If it's like MTV, you want all Becca all the time. There's the tab for it. There were. Oh, I have it. I have it because Gabby put it up. The only thing I will tell you is Gabby beat me. Turn off your notifications, like the sound, because we've had people leave our Discord because they've of notification. But Baker's Discord's way bigger than mine. Don't tell myself that. See you, Sue. Thank you. Have a good day. Enjoy your pool. I agree with you, Brandon. I was told by my Brandon that I did not need to ever go into Discord, let alone I never thought I would have one. No, tell Baker I said his Discord's bigger than mine. I appreciate that, Becca, because I'm doing my best to avoid all of that. I just don't want any arguments. I like everybody, and I really, whatever your political preferences are, it's fine. They're yours, and I don't want to fight with anybody about it because it's never going to change anybody's mind. And I don't want anybody to feel like they've been picked on about whatever. I just want to have a good time. I just want to have fun. I just want everybody to, I don't know, just get along, tell jokes. Yeah. I can't put that. I can't put either one of your things up. But yes, Becca, I appreciated you deleting that post. And Zach, that's exactly what she did. I don't want it, Becca. No. I best stream ever. Oh, Brandon. Go back in undercover boss style. I know, and I don't want it. I want everyone it doesn't I know, and I'm kind of dreading the Wednesday stream after the election, um, just because I just don't I love everyone in my chat, and I love having and coming a great and having a good time. I like having, conversations with people, like, about the trials and, if you see it this way and I see it this way, I don't need you to see everything the way I see it. I don't need an echo chamber. And we've all been really, really good about having respectful conversations about everything, but we have kept politics out of it, and that's just I think it's just a good thing. I just am so sick of it. I don't like either side, so that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, "I don't like any of them. They all suck." So, that's my opinion. There you go, if you wanted it. There you go. I don't like any of them. Do you know what it used to be you didn't discuss politics, religion, or money, or probably sex. Hello, Celestial Force. Ramen noodles are the best. Yes, no number 9 or number 4 will happen. Those are the rules. But I get it, I think. I don't know why it means a lot to you. The other side makes no sense to you, and that's the way people feel on both sides. I think I don't like it's all horrible, so I just they're all horrible people that have been in power way too long. So that's my opinion on all of them. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. What are we talking about? Ramen noodles. I still have no message. Dang it. All right, guys. Hey, everyone from Baker's chat. I appreciate all of you coming in, hanging out, um, making me laugh. I will thank Baker um, for the timing of his raid later. I made you hungry at pancakes. I know I kind of got hungry then too. Oh, the dogs. Told her he didn't like her shirt. Oh, hang on one sec. Sorry, my dogs are barking. They're gonna start howling. Yes, he is. Sorry. They will stop in a moment. You thought I took over. Can you imagine if I took over Baker's channel? Oh, that'd be hilarious. Oh, they want biscuits and gravy. Only one dog can howl. They got a lot of opinions. They got a lot of opinions. The only one that can actually howl is the German Shepherd, the Great Dane. The Great Dane, he just, I don't know what he does. They did. They told us. I know my husband's home, so I'm trying to wait for him. He just got home. Like, tell me what the plan is, and I can tell you guys what the plan is. I do not know the answer to that question. Ah. Can you imagine? No. Let me text him. What's the plan? He's gonna be like, why do you want to know so bad? You could, yeah. Did you really, Becca? I thought her legs looked better in the shorts. I Yeah, her legs looked better in the, shorts than the, mom I mean, I'm a mom. No offense to moms. They're like grandma shoes. I'm also a grandma, so no offense to the grandmas. Yeah. I haven't seen the sun in 4.5 years. Don't fall for it, Jess. And the yes, in the body cam, her legs looked good. In court, her legs did not look good. No, I'm good. I'm just waiting. Check your text messages. All right. Just say no. That's right. That is always the appropriate answer. Oh, goodness. Well, I don't know what the plan is. So I'll tell you guys what the plan is as soon as I know what the plan is. Hopefully, I will see you all Monday. She's the only good mod. That's really probably hurts Gabby's feelings. Zach, 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 Zach. However it makes you feel is a good indication of what you should do. He better not have gone for a nap. He's not answering. He's probably on the phone. That's my guess. You know how it is when you're trying to plan all this crap. I don't know the password for any of these Discord accounts or whatever email they are connected to. Always. Always. Well, Gabby, I know you pretend to have this hard outer shell, but I know there's a softer side there. It's never too late to go back to sleep. What are you talking about, Nick Starro? What's he doing? What are you guys gonna do now that YSL's done? Becca, she's the only one and Nick. What are y'all gonna do? No. Oh, there's 2 left? Okay. Sorry, Brandon. Sorry. Didn't mean to, like, scare you that Young Thug was over. Oh my goodness. That has been crazy. Oh, wait. He's read my text message. Oh, I told you he was on the phone. Called it. I remember when he was getting ready to start that because I was like, that thing's gonna is at the time was scheduled to go forever. And then it's gone forever. I don't like Becca, I don't know enough about the trial for it to mean anything to me. Does that make sense? Because I haven't watched any of it except for uh I think it was the judge. When the judge that's not there anymore, got caught having an ex parte meeting and then was gonna or did or was going to arrest the defense attorney in court for contempt or something. That's like the only thing I watched. You sentencing Young Thug or Willie Nelson? I'm not sure. She is a great mod. I've watched her. And just I have Gabby. So if you ever want to, you just email me and let me know. I'm never I don't want to put you on the spot. So the offer is there, but I know you're busy on a lot of channels because Carmen comes in, but she's never here. She's a mod, but Gabby does a great job, regardless of what Zach says. I thought you were saying, Brandon, I thought you were saying that to me. I was like, what? Wait, what? I was like, did I say that? What I think is funny about that trial is when I see they get Court TV or whoever gets copyright strikes because they played their music in court. Like, dang. Becca doesn't like wrenches. I saw Becca get a wrench once and she didn't want it. I didn't give it to her, but I saw her get one, and Becca is not about the wrench. Not at all. Zach, was it you or Puddletown that called me out for you said I was sexist because I only had female mods, and then so I modded a guy after that. That sounds bad. You know. Yes, we were all there. Becca's like, I don't want a wrench. I don't want it. It wasn't you. It must have been Puddletown. Like, I only see female moderators in here. Like, not anymore. But Bri has to work, so he's not here all the time. Twerp me. Do you say, Zach, do you say like you're gonna go like tinker on things? Like piddle around and I don't know if you have a barn. Piddle around in the barn. Oh, it was George that said that? George. And poof, Bri appears. the my only male mod. How you doing, Bri? The timing is absolutely 100% perfect. That was hilarious. Yes. Good afternoon. I hope your work went okay last night and that everything was good. Get off the phone. You know, as soon as I end the stream, he's going to be like, okay, well, here's the plan. Well, Bri, you missed the end of that trial. It was horrible. The injuries to the babies were horrible. And the audio continued to be horrible. And the cameraman continued to be drunk. and he was found guilty. Sentencing is November 25th. And he deserves whatever he gets. Unfortunately, I don't know what the law was in 1991. Ew. We don't want that. Yeah, I can't imagine working on Halloween at the hospital or the jail. And a lady put a pin in her butt cheeks. You know, and there was boobs and cleavage. And that was all the cameraman could focus on because he wasn't allowed to show their faces. I would assume that he has to be sentenced when the crime was committed, correct? I forgot you're the law lady. So he was, oh my gosh, I totally forgot what he was convicted of. First degree neglect of a dependent. Because he, what they were calling shaken baby syndrome at the time, but they don't use that phrasing anymore. So that's what she passed away from. Yeah, her injuries were horrible, horrible. And then, so she passed away from that. Okay. Well, if it goes by when it was charged, it wasn't charged until either 23 or this year. So if he's to go by these laws, this now he may be in bigger trouble. Yeah, he deserves the firing squad for the injuries that he inflicted on these children. Yeah, I don't understand it either. That's what Bry, the first day, Bry, we had a much better, she wasn't a medical examiner. She was she's a professor at the Medical College of Wisconsin, and she's a child abuse pediatrician since 1988. Her credentials are extraordinary. She's very, very smart, very well spoken, has done tons of studies on child abuse. And we didn't listen to her because she testified for 4.5 hours. So I just recapped what she said. The injuries were on these poor little girls because one daughter didn't live, and then in 91, and then 2005, another daughter ended up in the hospital with similar injuries. The one thing that she did not have the brain injuries that Catherine had. And that's probably the only reason she survived. So, yeah. And the days, like how many days old they were, it's almost identical in the timing. Yeah, it was something like that. I don't think it was first degree unaliving. And it had everything. Do you guys think he threw the dog in front of the car? When she wasn't allowed to say? That was my understanding, is that he maybe threw that dog in front of that car so she would hit it. That's how I took it. I don't know what you guys thought, but I'm like, well, you heard a dog, so you've heard a dog, you've heard a child. No. Yeah, I think that's what he did. Thank you, Brandon. Jedi Jess, Becca Lynn, Adair, Oh, Flash fan. Ah, my daughter-in-law. Oline Red. Pernilla. Maria Z. Benjamin Gray. Simply Zayla Rose. Thank you so much, Brandon. All of you got memberships from Brandon. Thank you. That was awesome. Google says Schroeder never took the stand in his own defense, saying pending charges and Waukesha were a factor in that decision. I wonder what those are. Maybe from his Silly the Clown days? I don't understand that. I don't understand the clown. Hey, Dill. Another Brandon gave you a membership. Well, you go deliver those babies. Have a good time. Thanks for stopping in. That's my daughter-in-law and my son in the picture. All right. Well, apparently my husband is never getting off the phone. Hey, I thought you were delivering babies. I can tell you later because I'll see her later today. I will see her all day tomorrow, all day Sunday, and Monday night. And then next weekend, she's staying overnight. So, yep. If I have a 1,000 phone calls from the mom. Right, Dill? Looks like he faces up to 60 years. Good. He deserves every bit of it. He's already a registered, I don't know. How do you, I'm past like 2 hours. He's already a registered sex offender. He's already done time for that. He's horrible. He had these women that weighed less than 100 pounds telling them how fat they were. Like, horrible, horrible, horrible human being. We think that's what, and then one lady had a dog that was at his house. She left and she wasn't allowed to take the dog, which was hard for me to hear because, like, if I'm leaving and I'm taking my dog with me if I think they're in danger. And then the dog got hit by a car. But she wasn't allowed to say, she talked to the driver of the car, but she wasn't allowed to say what happened. I think he threw the dog in front of the car. He needs them all. He needs them all. I didn't, like I said, I didn't have these guys listen to the injuries. I read them the injuries, and that was hard enough. Yes, sleepover at grandma's next weekend. So they can celebrate their 1 year of marriage, and maybe they'll make another baby. Zach. Nothing. Well, the conspiracy today was kicking people out of. Sorry, he must be coming inside and scary. Was kicking people out of my stream. It's like, okay, thanks. It's not like there was. I don't have huge numbers anyway, but thanks for taking the ones I had. Oh, he's typing. He's typing. Pull for Tuesday. Pull for Tuesday. Wait, is Tuesday election day? Dang it. They probably won't have a funeral on Tuesday. Pull for Wednesday. Oh, he's not telling me. Dang it. All right. All right. Well, I will tell y'all later because he's not telling me. And I just want to know the day. I just need to know the day. All right. Thank you guys, everybody from Baker's Chat that came in. Sorry you came in at an awkward time, but thank you for making it better. And thank you for Brandon and Zach and Gabby and Kelly for all your super chats and your super sticker. You guys have a great, and the gifted memberships. If I've forgotten anything, I apologize. Thanks for sticking by me through that horrible trial. We'll do something better audio next time and better cameraman. So thank you guys. Enjoy all your weekend. Be safe. Be smart. And I always tell everybody here, I'll stream your trial. I can't bail you out, but I will stream your trial. And I might make fun of you while I do it. Probably not. I'll probably just be sad because you won't be here. But hopefully I will see you all Monday with Mo and we can start going over this Delphi stuff. Because it's bad. It's bad. So, alrighty. I actually think I'm going to close this out right this time. So, I'll see you guys later.